2018. Roll call.
Ms. Snell?
Here.
Ms. Metoyer?
Here.
Ms. Fleur?
Here.
Mr. Davenport? Ms. Franco?
Here.
Ms. Black?
Here.
Ms. Yelsey?
Here.
Dr. Navarro?
Here.
Okay, everybody's here. So do we have any cards? No, ma'am. Okay, so I am going to,
Get my name
we're
spelled
going
right.
to go into closed session.
Great. Phil's first.
The word just says change it to one.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm conferring here. Welcome to our August 28th meeting, 2018, and here we go again, another school year. So in our closed session, we pulled one of the cases, student discipline cases, 173677 for amendment. And so, moving on, we're going to have our opening ceremonies, a moment of reflection and pledge of allegiance, led by Dana. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so next is the adoption of agenda. The staff has pulled 15.A.6. So I need a motion
So moved.
and a second. Okay, so adoption of agenda. I was going to repeat it, but thank you.
Sorry.
Adoption of agenda moved by Mrs. Fleur and seconded by Mrs. Black. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next is adoption of minutes.
Move approval of the minutes of 2000, what is it, August?
It's in there.
It's in here, August 15th.
And July 10th. Second.
Okay, so adoption of minutes is moved by Mrs. Fleur, seconded by Ms. Metoyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. And now we're on to introduction of new staff with Mrs. Olson. Ms. Olson.
Thank you. Good evening. Well, this is an exciting time for us. We have not done this for some time, and there's been lots happening over the summer, and this is just one indicator of it. So I have the pleasure of introducing to you new members to our management team. And so first, if I could have Terry Lynn Shadd come up to the podium. As she's coming up, Terry Lynn is joining our team as the assistant principal for Kaiser and Lincoln Elementary Schools, in addition to serving as an administrative intern at these sites in the past year. Terry is also known for her work as a district TOSA in the area of English language arts, very well respected. In addition to that, teaching for 14 years, she also has been a literacy coach while she was with Saddleback Valley Unified School District. And over the past year, as she has become very familiar with the two communities that she will be serving, she will be a great asset to them moving it forward.
Thank you, Leona. Good evening, President, Dr. Navarro, Executive Cabinet, and esteemed guests. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I can't tell you how excited I am to serve the communities and go back to Kaiser and Lincoln and be a part. I had a fantastic 7 months, and I'm looking forward to next week, the full kickoff. So if I can take 2 seconds to introduce my children. Hi, kiddos. Who I'm super proud of. I'm sure you've heard me say they're both dual immersion students. Emily is a sophomore at San Clemente High School, and Jack is a 7th grader at a middle school called BAMS. So I wanted to share this moment with them. So thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
And now, if we-
I'm sorry. Annette, do you want to get a picture?
Perfect.
Okay, okay. She wants a picture.
All right.
Yeah. Do you want your children in it too? Yeah. Come on. Why not?
Just what kids love to do, have their pictures taken.
That was the first question. Do I have to go up there, Mom?
Yeah. No, honey, you won't have to.
Okay, thank you.
Vicki, while they were taking the picture, I was just going to say, I was at Lincoln yesterday for their staff development, and Terry Lynn was there for a while, and I know the staff over there is super excited about having her as part of their team, so they're really looking forward to it.
Okay, good.
And now if we could have Dr. Michelle Stevens come to the podium. So Dr. Stevens is joining us as assistant principal of Corona Del Mar High School. She brings with her 23 years of experience in education, has served as an assistant principal in Pomona, which is where she is currently for the last 2 years. In addition to that, Michelle has served as a high school counselor for 13 years. 8 of those was as head counselor, but that wasn't enough. She has also served as a special education teacher and an activities director. And so here she will be joining us and bringing that wealth of experience and knowledge to Corona Del Mar community.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Good evening, Dr. Navarro, President Snell, board members, executive cabinet, esteemed guests. Thank you so much for having me. I just want to formally say I'm thrilled. I'm over the moon to be here. And as I start my 24th year, I can't imagine a better place, and I'm looking forward to doing amazing work. So thank you. I brought with me my daughter, Kendall.
Hey, Kendall. All right, Kendall. Yeah. Come up, Kendall.
Come on, Kendall.
Come.
Yeah, I gotta take your picture time.
And I do have a 22-year-old in Seattle.
Okay. Wonderful. Click.
So exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.
And then if Laura Delpage could join us. Laura is joining the Ed Division as the coordinator of the English Learner Program, as we know, a much-needed area for us. And she has served as a teacher in Atosa, principal with high populations of English learners. For the last 3 years, she has been the coordinator of categorical programs with Ocean View School District, which leads their efforts in the support of the sites and their English learners advancing. Her expertise, as well as her passion, you will find out, is in the area of English language development. So we are very pleased to have her join our team.
Thank you. President Snell, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Navarro, and Cabinet, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve the students of Newport-Mesa School District. I look forward to working closely with the Education Division and Vanessa Gailey and providing all of our students a 21st century learning environment, especially our English learners. So I feel privileged to be entrusted to support our teachers and students, and our English learners, as Mrs. Olson said, are my passion. So I'm very excited. And today was day 2, so I'm really excited. So I'm very proud to introduce part of my family. A few of my children are here this evening. So they want to stand up. So my dad is here, who is the reason I'm an educator and has supported education.
All right, come on, Dad.
Come on, Dad.
Come on, Dad.
And my daughter, Victoria.
All right.
And my daughter, Jacqueline. My husband, Richard, who's in his second official day as a retired teacher after 22 years. And my son, Tony, and his family. And Tony is so far my only hope for continuing the family business. He is a high school teacher at Fountain Valley High School.
All right.
And his wife and 2 of my grandchildren, Capri and Rome.
Wow. All right.
starting TK in just about a week, so she's very excited.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, come on up.
Yes.
We're going to get a
You can get a
family picture.
Get a family
Yeah.
picture, Christmas.
Yeah,
And
they're
I don't-
missing a couple.
I don't know if everybody notices, but the only one who has a bigger smile on their face than her family is Vanessa Gailey.
This is great.
Look, she's taking pictures too. Look, it's real. She's real, she's real.
It's so fabulous. How many children does she have? 5?
Cute family.
She's going to get her. She's trying to get the little girl. Okay. Welcome.
Welcome.
So if Sarah Coley could please join us. So introducing you to Sarah, who has been selected as the coordinator of student services. So you might notice that Phil is smiling as well. Sarah's joining us after serving in the Huntington Beach Union High School District, and she's had a really interesting road in the fact that her expertise is in the area of restorative practices. She is a lead. She facilitates district-wide trainings in that area. She's also served as a mathematics teacher, an AVID coordinator, ASB advisor, and served as the chair for the district SARB board. So, Sarah, we are very pleased to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Navarro, President Snell, board, executive cabinet. I'm so honored to be a part of this family and be part of this team. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here and bring restorative practices and to really build the capacity that has already started here. And so I'm really excited. We've already hit the ground running. I haven't been here a month yet, but we've done a lot of good work already. So thank you for having me. You've already been introduced to Mason. He is our son. My husband, Lorenzo, and then my parents, Jim and Patty Harris. These are the people that got me here today. They've supported me every step of the way. I'm so thankful for them. So thank you so much again for having me and for bringing me in and welcoming me so kindly.
Great.
Get that little boy up here.
Oh, mommy.
Oh, he's not going to turn around for the picture.
Sure will. This is great. This is terrific.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So, and this person is very familiar to you. If I could have Gabe Duriel come join us at the podium.
I'm mad at Gabe.
There are a few, but there's the other side of that.
Yeah, that's true.
The Ed Division is so excited to have a coordinator of K-12 curriculum and instruction. As most of you know, Gabe has served the Ray and Newport Heights communities as a teacher, TOSA, prior to becoming the principal at Adams, where he has led them. He has such a deep understanding, and I think we really all appreciate the level and the breadth of his understanding of curriculum and instruction and the way he approaches his work. And so we are really pleased to have him in that position. So welcome.
Thank you. President Snell, Board Trustees, Dr. Navarro, Cabinet, and guests. I want to thank you all for this opportunity. And as you heard from Ms. Olson, I've been in Newport-Mesa 18 years, and in each of my positions, it's been my goal to set high expectations for students and develop a warm and supportive environment in which they can meet those expectations. As the coordinator, my job and my goal is to continue working towards that same end by supporting all of our principals, all of our teachers, and over the past 2 days, I can say that there are so many great things happening. I've had the opportunity to go to PD for elementary and for secondary, and it's just way more than one person could handle. Fortunately, I've joined an amazing team of people I very highly respect and regard, and I'm just thrilled to have this opportunity to continue serving Newport-Mesa and our students. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And I do have my family here. I have my wonderful, beautiful wife, Chrissy, and my 2 children, Sonia and Lucas.
All right. You watched them grow. I know. Really watched them. Man, they have really grown here.
The last time you saw Lucas, he was in the back crying. He was
Yes.
about 3 months old, so it's been a little while.
It's like, oh.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, that's great.
Oh, wait, there's more.
And I've been dying to make this announcement. So if we could have Dr. Megan Brown please come to the podium.
Oh, yeah.
So Megan is joining our HR team as Director of Certificated Personnel. And as many of us know, that she has been with Newport-Mesa for quite some time, since 2004. She has been a teacher. She has the experience and understanding of ATOSA, most currently as principal of Pomona and moving that school forward. And she has also been a significant partner on our negotiations team for the certificated side. And so we really appreciate her efforts there. She works very closely with her own colleagues in the past, bringing them together, taking the lead on many district initiatives. And I cannot tell you over the last couple of weeks what a delight it has been to have her join our team. She's a systems thinker. She's a collaborator. Her communication skills are just absolutely outstanding. And so, welcome.
Hey, thank you.
You're smiling.
President Snell, Dr. Navarro, Board, Executive Cabinet, and community. I want to thank you, first of all, for giving me the opportunity 7 years ago to serve the Pomona community as principal. It was an honor and a pleasure. And again, for giving me this amazing opportunity to serve the Newport-Mesa community as a whole as Director of Certificated Personnel. So thank you. I have, as Leona has mentioned, I've been in the role for a couple of weeks, and I also already appreciate so much having an outstanding mentor in Leona and being part of a division of incredibly hardworking, dedicated, and kind people. It's an amazing team, so I really appreciate that. I brought some members of my home team tonight to introduce to you. I would say this is a big turnout, but this is common for our team. There's a lot of people here. So I have my oldest son, Jimmy. My husband, Jim. My twin sons, Jeffrey and Roy. I have one other son, the elusive Tommy Brown, who wasn't able to make it. He's at a quinceañera practice. But I'm pleased to have my mother-in-law, Charlotte, a retired teacher, Charlotte Brown. And my dad, Jeff, also a retired teacher.
Come on up.
Come on, family pictures.
Come on up.
You get a whole row. I know, that's so cool.
Recent graduate here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
It's cool. It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, wow.
That's cool.
Yes.
Could we impose on Ms. Olson to talk about, the hiring? Sure. You can't hear me?
There, just make sure I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Certainly, in general.
Yeah, I think it would just, because I was really fascinated by it, because we get updates every week, on our enrollment numbers and and they are changing, but we also get updates on our hiring and what's happening, so.
I think the board should be very pleased at the culture and the reputation that we have created for that you have created for Newport-Mesa. We do not lack applicants whatsoever. We are a highly desirable district. And it's not just about the compensation. People talk about the collaboration they've heard about the professional development that they are provided, and those types of things. So the environment in general. So just to give you an idea, I'll do the shocking one first. For our elementary for our elementary positions, so our classroom positions, we had 866 applicants.
Wow.
Which is just outstanding. Very fun to screen too, I will share with you. And then just a couple of others that are interesting. Our hourly support teachers positions, which just recently closed, we had 242. So that's 242 people who are looking for the opportunity to enter into our environment and service our students in an intervention manner. But even at the secondary level, our social science and our English pools are 145, 150. Wow. Math even this year was 95 when we were posting those.
Wow.
So we still, we like the rest of the state, struggle in areas of special education because there are far more jobs than there are people coming out. But even at that, for instance, we have 34 positions we had open this year, 30 are filled. The others are in the stages of interviewing and whatnot. With our secondary, we're at about 85% filled, and again, we're getting recommendations from our sites. And then with the elementary, where we had that 866, I just like saying the number, is we actually have filled 57 of our 58 spots. So we have one more that is, and that was due to enrollment increase, so we had to open that position. So it is very impressive, the number of applicants we get for all of our positions. I didn't go into management, but management is very similar as well. So. And classified.
So are we getting this, the breadth of experience in terms of that 866 new teachers versus, what we would, in the old days, we called them highly qualified teachers, multiple years of experience?
We do have the breadth. We have those coming, those who have just finished student teaching. We have those who have been looking for a couple years, and then we have those who are experienced and are looking for another opportunity in our district.
Great.
So it's across the board.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're moving on to reports, and the first report, should I go directly to Dr. Baumeister?
Actually, I'm going to ask Mr. Drake to handle the first one because
Okay.
Dr. Sir is out tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, that's
So,
Dr. Sir. Okay.
and this is a really impressive arrangement that's coming our way. We're very, very honored to have this and to have the great leader of the Boys and Girls Club here today to share the information with you. Mr. Drake?
That's right. President Snell and Board, Dr. Navarro. As you know, we have many, many great partnerships with organizations in our community to help support and serve our students. And at the top of that list is the Boys and Girls Club. And we have two agenda items on, or consent items on the agenda this evening related to programs, two programs that we're going to be bringing to our students. Lucky enough also to have a great relationship with the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Central Orange Coast, Robert Santana, is here tonight to share a little bit more information about these two programs.
Good evening, and thank you, Superintendent Navarro, President Snell, members of the trustees and cabinet for inviting me to join you here tonight. That's such a great introduction to think of all the great organizations and partnerships that we have here in this community, and to be considered a premier partnership really means a lot to us. I was here a little over a year ago as we launched an expansion of our partnership at Ray and Pomona School as part of an effort for us to combine our resources and really leverage the talent of both the teams that we have here at the school district as well as the Boys and Girls Club. And here we are as one of the agenda items for us to extend that partnership. And as a reminder, the Boys and Girls Club is able to respond and leverage certain resources that we get to then bring into serve more students in a higher capacity. And as we look at the hybrid program that we have at Ray and Pomona, we're able to leverage the staff and the resources that are already being invested by the school district for after-school programs and bring in the partnership so that the staff of the Boys and Girls Club can support with enrichment programs as well as the opportunity to serve more kids. And so if you remember, when we introduced that partnership, it was a way for us to serve more kids and in a higher capacity without having to spend more dollars. And so that whenever we can do that, it obviously is a win-win for all. And so we're very excited to continue that partnership. Working with the staff here at Newport-Mesa has been something that we really appreciate as a team, that when we have the relationship and the communication, where we're able to meet as regularly as we can, we as an organization get to bring in more partnerships, more resources, and continue to innovate so that we can better serve our students together. And so I can't express how proud we are of the partnership that we have, and more importantly, the impact that it brings. For many of you, you're familiar with the Boys and Girls Club and all the history that we have in the community, 75 years of impact here. Wow. And the reality is that for any organization that's been around for that long, there has to be evolution. And over the last few years, since I became the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Central Orange Coast, as we merged the communities of Costa Mesa, Newport Beach, Irvine, Santa Ana, as well as the city of Orange, we're expecting to serve 8,500 to 9,000 kids this school year. And in large part, that's because of the partnerships that we have with great organizations in the community as well as school districts. And as we look at that, we have great program, great curriculum, world-class staff, but the most simplest way that you can describe the Boys and Girls Club is we are a mentor organization. And someone mentioned the word mentor earlier. I've never met a successful person that got to somewhere by themselves. Every successful person has achieved success because of the generosity of other people, whether it's been people in our lives that help us when we struggle or someone to guide the way. That's, for me, the common denominator of what makes a successful person. And so as a Boys and Girls Club, our focus, our mission is to make sure that all kids, no matter zip code, background, or family status, that all kids have mentors and champions in life. And so we're really privileged and proud to be able to partner with you so we can serve our kids here in our communities. We also have a Boys and Girls Club in Newport Beach, so we are serving kids in Newport as well. One of the things I'm most excited about is to continue expanding our partnership. And so the second item on the agenda is for a new partnership with our College Bound program. And our College Bound program is laser focused around one-to-one relationships with high school students, making sure that they have an academic advisor, a Boys and Girls Club academic advisor, so that they're meeting with our high school students on a regular basis. I think we all know that our high school counselors have a really big job ahead of them, and even our best school districts have, in some cases, 400 or 500 students assigned for every one counselor. So there's just a bandwidth problem. There's just no way that a high school counselor can manage a one-to-one relationship at the highest quality as what we would like. And so our Boys and Girls Club academic advisors have a 40-to-1 ratio. We meet specifically with high school students, 1-to-1 at least once a month. Typically in the senior year, they're meeting 3 or 4 times a month because there's a lot more activity. And to put it simply, we're working specifically with high school students. The students are making a commitment to be a member of College Bound. Their parents also are making a commitment to provide us access to information and volunteer services and participate in workshops. We are preparing kids for college and career. This is our 4th year with this program. We replicated it from the Boys and Girls Club in the LA Harbor in the San Pedro area. It's in its 15th year there. It's in its 4th year here. We have a 100% graduation rate, 100% progression rate, so for every 9th grader goes to 10th and 10th to 11th. And this year was our largest year of service. We have over 900 high school students enrolled in College Bound. 113 of those students were seniors, and 60% of those seniors went to a 4-year college, 40% to a 2-year college. And if you're really going to push me on math, 1%. So between those two, there's a 0.5%. 1% are pursuing military service. But 100% of our college-bound graduates are pursuing either a college or a military service post their high school education. We also, for that 113 students, helped secure over $1 million in financial aid and scholarships just for that graduating class. Of that million, it's not the biggest chunk, $45,000 was awarded in scholarships directly from the Boys and Girls Club. And so we're here tonight because we want to continue to expand our College Bound program. We have several donors who have invested their time and resources so that we can continue to scale College Bound. Both the first and the second item that's on the agenda are at no cost to the school district. We, as Boys and Girls Club professionals, go out and secure the funds and the partnerships so that we can bring those resources here to serve students in the community. So neither of these programs are contracts that will be of any exchange of funding. We find it in some cases it's a lot easier to just go get the money from the private community and then just bring those resources into the school district. And so our goal is to introduce College Bound at every high school that we have the reach to partner with, and specifically have identified Costa Mesa and Estancia High School as our priority for this upcoming school year. And so our goal is to establish this partnership, provide more resources to high school students, and really this is the beginning of what we feel is a long-term investment into the community. And as we continue to find more ways to innovate and more ways to secure resources, we really see ourselves, our success is defined based on the impact that we're able to create in the community. And just from a social entrepreneurial perspective, we can just do more when we work with you and collaborate and help fill gaps than if we were just to kind of work separately and in our own silo. I'd like to open up if there's any questions about the program.
Yes, Mrs. Fleur.
Yes, thank you. All my kids went to the Lou Yantorn branch off of Santa Ana Avenue,
We'd like to have you there in the next few months. We'll be breaking ground and
love that.
renovation. Of the building.
Major renovations going on. So I'm curious to know, I think this is a fabulous program, especially for Costa Mesa and Estancia, because our kids need to open their eyes and have those possibilities presented to them. So how are the students selected? Are they invited? Perhaps you can.
It's a great question. We've piloted different versions of it. We've run the program at schools where students are specifically identified by a counselor and referred to the program. Like any other program, it's always best when students are making the decision for themselves. And so there's a lot of recruitment that we will perform as part of our launch. And then like anything else, when we get those early adopters, they typically become our spokespeople. So once we recruit that first kind of wave of students, what we see is organic growth from there. Our goal is to serve probably about 40 to 50 students per high school in its first year, and then see that organic growth go from there. We've also piloted different versions where we can stagger by grade level, and that way we have a good succession plan. And we've done the opposite, where we've focused specifically on 9th grade students and followed them all the way through. We won't see the direct impact in this year, but we just introduced a new position that will focus entirely on alumni engagement for College Bound. And the idea for us, our philosophy is, if we can provide a support system through college, so an actual relationship, that's our big picture, College Bound 2.0, where once we graduate them from high school, we will actually assign them a new mentor that will follow them all the way through college.
So if I can jump in too, as we talked, as you guys know, we have the Simon Scholar Program, which is a great program. But there are a lot of kids that apply for that program and only 8 get in. So I know I was talking with a counselor at Costa Mesa High School that was lamenting about those kids that didn't get in. So we thought this was a perfect group of kids for this program. They've already stepped forward. They've already said that they want to have more, they want to do more. And so that will be our pilot group in this first year, is those kids that were identified, that interviewed for Simon Scholars that didn't get into the program. So we already have those kids.
And there's some great programs like Simon Scholars and in other districts, Nicholas Academy. Some of those programs are very highly specific to the type of student and profile that they're looking for. We, last year in Santa Ana, we'll be on campus at every Santa Ana high school in the next few weeks. We had this last year the valedictorian of Santa Ana High School, and I didn't know you could get a 1.5 GPA, but it's in there. So there really is, it's the bell curve. For us, it's a commitment. They're making a commitment to invest in their future, and we're helping create the environment. We do an A through G audit as part of onboarding. We provide them access to field trips to view college campuses and visit different careers. We help them navigate the very difficult decision and process of trying to figure out what they want to be when they grow up, and then ultimately we want to build a custom roadmap for their future.
Mrs. DLC.
Me?
Yeah.
Obviously, the need is greatest at Estancia and Costa Mesa, but are there any plans to expand it to, especially Newport Harbor? And there are some kids at CDM that probably would be interested in something like this.
So you have my commitment as CEO of the Boys and Girls Club. It's to serve all students at all high schools. And none of the programs we develop are for poor kids or for rich kids it's for kids, for students. I believe that all students, all kids need mentors, especially at the high school level. It's a lot going on, and I believe it's when our students are most vulnerable. And so our vision is to provide this at scale. Every high school that we have the opportunity to work with. I think it makes it a lot easier to work here because we have such a great relationship. So as we look at growth, there's a formula. There has to be a need in the community that we feel is important to address. There has to be a relationship with a district and school partners that we feel we can leverage together. And there has to be, for us, the opportunity for scale. And so if we're going to invest the amount of money that it takes for us to plant and launch a site, it's not cheap. For us to invest that, it's because we know that there's scale behind it. So this is really the beginning of what we feel is a large-scale program. In Santa Ana, when we introduced it, it was to address the need and the crisis that exists in that community in low-income neighborhoods where, college is just simply not a conversation. And in that time that we've been able to launch College Bound, just a couple months ago, we had a College Bound Summit. We had over 250 parents show up on a Saturday morning and spend the entire afternoon learning about financial tools to budget for school and what other opportunities existed, how they can reinforce the message that we were pushing through Boys and Girls Club. And then we had several hundred high school students on a Saturday morning, in lieu of staying home and watching cartoons and eating Frosted Flakes, they came and spent half the day in workshops. And so College Bound is not just the tutoring or the relationship, it's full circle, SAT prep courses, it's college visits, it's the relationship, and it's really making sure that there's a support system in place for students. And so we see that as a necessary thing for all districts and all zip codes.
So we look
Ms.
forward to seeing
Metoyer.
you next year.
Oh, sorry. Ms. Metoyer?
Yeah. I just want to thank you because it takes both sides to create this relationship and this wonderful working relationship that you've had with our district for over all the years, that it has been able to blossom to this because, as you said, no matter how great it is, you just don't have the body count to do the kind of work that you're going to be doing with our kids. And students want the help and don't know where to go. And by saying, well, here's one more area. It warms my heart. Thank you so much for caring about kids as much as we do. Thank you.
Very
Thank
much.
you.
That means a lot.
Thank you for your wonderful explanation of all the services
Yes.
as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next year and the year after
I'll
and
let
the year after.
I'll leave it with Kirk here. And
Oh, excellent.
Perfect, thank you.
I just want to share with you, I've never heard anyone describe themselves the way that Robert described himself, but you've heard of entrepreneurs, right? He described himself as a social entrepreneur.
Okay.
And making changes in the lives of students through making changes in society. So it's very creative. So thank you, Robert, for everything.
It's very selfish because we're creating the world of the next generation that's coming up to make this world a fabulous place for us to live in our old age.
Okay, so, more good news. Report on thought exchange, and are we going to Russell Lee-Sung? Yes. Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's my honor to introduce this guest speaker and from Thought Exchange, and a little bit about Thought Exchange before I turn it over to Matt. Last year, I happened to be at a conference, and I stumbled upon a session being offered by Thought Exchange. And I sat in there, and I was absolutely intrigued with what they were sharing. In fact, it's one of those deals where you think, why didn't I think of this? And to hear from other district leaders talking about a very common challenge of large organizations on how we seek ideas and share that in an efficient and systematic way, which, as we all know, as leaders of a district, that is very valuable information to help us make important decisions. And so with that, I know Dr. Navarro did some further research, and we have Matt DePriese here today to share that with you, and we do have an item later on the agenda for approval. But this is an excellent way, a new innovative way to receive ideas from our entire school community, whether it be parents, staff, students, on topics that we believe are truly important. So with that, I'm going to introduce to you Matt DePriese from Thought Exchange.
Thanks, Russell. It's an absolute honor to be here. Thanks for having me. And to be introduced like that. I also just wanted to say how impressive that the Boys and Girls Club efforts are, and that's really exciting stuff. Okay, Thought Exchange. We, like Russell was saying, it's an idea that's pretty simple. It's a way to share ideas. It's a way to have a meaningful conversation online in a safe way, in an efficient way, and in a way that gives really informative data to make prudent decisions with. So the way we do that is through 3 steps in software. And there's a couple different ways that you can access the software. We'll get into that. But basically, we ask simple, open-ended questions. We allow people to respond in their own words to those questions. Kind of the inverse of surveys, right? And then instead of just absorbing those, we allow people to rate each comment on their own. So they'll prioritize it for you, and you'll get to, through the data in Discover, we get to see how people organize around that information, what trends become really important, how do people shift in their understanding of the topic. And there's all sorts of great information, both for the participant to dig into and for leadership to dig into. There's a lot of the process that we undertake in this, and we know that when change is being made or progress is being, you're driving progress on things like your LCAP plan or strategic plan, those sort of things. We know to make meaningful change, you have to have people on board. And a lot of research talks about a concept called fair process or procedural justice, the idea that those who are impacted have meaningful input in the change or in the process that's being improved upon. So the way we do that is allowing people to listen and to one another and feel heard. We ask the leadership, that's the one, we'll ask a question to the group, that many up on the left. And those people will be able to share their thoughts and interact with each other's thoughts to build ownership in the conversation. So the research shows that regardless of where people stand in that conversation, if they feel like they had a meaningful participation in it, the outcome is going to be adopted much more wholeheartedly by the whole group and with much greater odds. So how does it work? We will send out, in conjunction with your team, using the channels that you leverage the most and most effectively, a link, either through email, a messaging service, text message, and people can then come into the platform. When they arrive in the platform, they can arrive in either Spanish and English in this version, and through this whole thing, people can interact within their own language and see people's conversation from other languages.
Okay.
So that's really important for accessibility. Okay. The other piece, actually, on the accessibility side, there's an e-reader functionality that can happen as well for anyone that has any sort of necessity that way. So there's a video that can be posted in there. Often it's the superintendent. Depends what the topic is. Sometimes it might be a student or a teacher or a combination of the whole, all stakeholders involved. And it's just that importance of the video is to make sure that people understand why they're there and what the relevance of their participation will be. The platform is anonymous, which is great for a lot of reasons. But we're still able to collect some demographic information, so we can slice and dice information, whether it's by facility or by stakeholder group, et cetera. And then folks move into the participation step. So what you see here is the share step. This is where people get to respond to an open-ended question. The question that's on the screen right now is one that we often use in an LCAP exchange. What are some things we could do to continue to improve our schools? The partner question to that would be, what are some things you appreciate about our schools? And then people get to respond in their own time and space. It could be at home, late at night, could be first thing in the morning, could be whenever. And they'll respond with their thought, and you'll see that on the bottom, I'm not sure if you're able to make it out from where you're sitting, it says, say why it's important. And really the goal is to shift from a positional statement to the interest behind that statement. So we encourage people to say that. They can respond as many times as they want. We just ask them to be concise. So, so that everybody's able to move through the process efficiently. Once they're done sharing their thought, you'll see the orange markings there. They'll click on star. When it's a public exchange, the participant doesn't experience this. They're told this occurs. There's always the occasion that, not always, but it's important to know that what gets out into the public is appropriate. If someone makes an accusation that's libelous or there's evidence of harassment, we actually have a team of people that are reading every single thought that comes in and evaluating against a set of criteria that we've worked out with the leadership group to make sure that it's appropriate to move forward. If it's not, it gets flagged. It's still part of the public record. It's just brought to the leadership's attention to determine whether it moves forward or not. As a participant, you move straight into the star step, and now you're exposed to the thoughts of others. So you see other people's perspectives, and you'll also see your own mixed in here. So this is that listening to one another and feeling heard piece that I was talking about earlier. And the way this works is really simple. You come in here, there's going to be a thought on the screen. There's some onboarding language that you'd see, but you simply assign a star ranking to that particular thought, and as soon as you do that, another thought emerges, and it just keeps rolling through. If I'm a Spanish speaker and I'm reading someone's thought that's in English, I'll be notified that it was translated, and it's from English into Spanish and vice versa.
Does the name pop up?
So the only name that's on, there's no name association with individuals here at all.
Okay.
The only name that would be on there is the name of the person who holds the license. In this case, it would be Newport-Mesa School District would be at the top.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
The importance for anonymity in this case is actually, so I know when I'm in a group of peers, I might, regardless of how independent I believe I am, I might actually go along with something that someone who I respect has said. And I'm actually, maybe I'll go along with it, but I'm still considering it in my mind. The piece to separate that peer association is really important so that people can make their own decisions. And you can see what truly is important. Publicly, so participants get to be able to come through, they can go back and forth between sharing and starring. As they're starring, they might have another idea they want to add to the mix. But they can also get to see what the sum of the conversation is in Discover. So they get to see how the group is responding, what's becoming most important to them. That's on the left, just kind of what's bubbling up to the top, and you can scroll through that. There might be 800 thoughts that are in there, and if you're really interested, you can keep going. But you can also see what I think is really important for participants, and the part that when I'm involved in a thought exchange, which we drink our own Kool-Aid, we do this a lot as a company, is how do I relate to the rest of the conversation? So I'll see a response I'll see where my thoughts that I contributed, how are people organizing around those? And I'll also see how my activity in starring is similar and unique to the rest of the group. In effect, we're building empathy for different perspectives. So here's the other piece of good news. Accessibility is a piece that we've been hearing about for a long time. As an organization, we've been around for just over 8 years. We work coast to coast in over 200 school districts in the United States and 50 and growing in Canada. Multilingual access has always been really important. And so we've developed a feature. It started in SMS. We're now using a messaging service that's through a web solution. Every single language that Google Translate can be accessed and participate equally in this conversation. So no matter what community is here, there's the opportunity for them to participate in this conversation. The other piece about access that's interesting, and depending on where the exchanges are being used, a question I get often is okay, so I've got a large community of people who are technologically inept. And the thing about this is that it behaves just like text messaging. So everybody these days, well, not everybody, everybody with an asterisk has one of these. And whether you have grandchildren or you are a grandchild, you know how to send a text message. And so this is where we feel like we can really bridge that access gap. On the back end, what the leadership has access to is a really powerful dashboard. The dashboard is live when the exchange is live. You can see how it begins to evolve. We can collect it. Well, obviously, this is where you get to see where the demographic information is, how participation is breaking out. You can drill into specific conversations and understand the narrative within a theme that's developing, or see the overall piece. That bar chart there is actually, I want to dig into it a little bit more. It's an interactive bar chart. So what happens is these themes that are across the bottom, and it doesn't matter what they are, they can be pre-prescribed or they can emerge from the data itself. So if it's your LCAP goals, we can have those across the bottom, and then you can click on one of them and you can see, based on your objectives within your LCAP, where are the trends. We can compare positive and negative or one question to another, and then you can actually drill in and understand the true narrative that's going on within that specific theme.
If we've predetermined the LCAP goals, for example, does it provide for the opportunity for someone to add something else, or because of the nature of that particular thought, it would be restricted to just those parameters?
When thoughts are submitted, the only way that they can get interacted with is by starring them. So you can't modify a thought. What happens here is the grouping of thoughts by theme.
Oh.
Okay, so it's in this case, on the right, start times. At high school, I know that's an ongoing conversation, doesn't matter where you are. So this is actually out of a student conversation that was part of an LCAP process. And you can see here, this was part of out of the appreciate column, and they said, you know, we really appreciate the fact that what they did with start times feels good. And this was overwhelmingly more positive than those who were detracting from the start time discussion. So you can gauge this. You know, we know that perception is often more powerful than truth, and this plants you in the middle of the narrative of what the perception is on the street, whether you need to guide it, you know, clarify things or not.
So expanding from what Ms. Matoya has said, is that if the theme is, and there's the conversation is, well, this LCAP goal should be modified, and there are people that have put it as a 5-star rating, it doesn't prevent staff to taking a look at that, because they can drill down into the specific comments on that specific LCAP goal where they said it, and possibly adjust or modify given the nature of it. I mean, you could do that.
My understanding within LCAP, and I invite you to speak a little bit more to this, but is that so the way this is going to work is it's going to inform LCAP committee conversation. So where are we at on goal 6, objective, and I'm just making numbers up, but based on our progress that we feel that we've made and the conversation around that, how are we doing? And then the group can actually discuss that constructively based on community gathered information and narrative.
I think it's clear that it's more than just taking a vote.
Yes.
It's about stimulating more conversation, more ideas as you, that's
a great idea.
Yeah, it's a real broad perspective, and it gives voice to the folks that may not really feel comfortable sharing their thought any other way.
Can anybody bring up a topic, or do the topics come from the district?
Yeah, so we work collectively with the leadership group. We're a mechanism for information gathering, and so working with the cabinet team, they're going to say, look, we need to learn more about X. Can you help us form some questions around that? You'll see that we have a service team that's dedicated to the success of the implementation of this, and that's ongoing support with each public exchange. We'll also train individuals to be able to use the license on a smaller scale, so that when you have committee work or you're looking to gather feedback from principals on a staff meeting or something like that, there's that nimbleness, so that Russell and Dr. Navarro and his team can have that ability to do.
But my question was, someone in the community wanting to talk about a specific topic, can they bring it up on here?
Yeah, anybody. So it depends how you send the invitation out. What's really interesting is when people who have a specific topic that they feel really passionate about and they want to make sure that they're heard, if that's not a topic that's resonant with the broader community, it'll exist in the data, but it won't be heavily supported, and we can show that.
And, oops, Mike.
Go ahead, that's all right.
Okay, good. My question for that was, I know as an individual, I'm out in the community, I can respond as often. Does your demographic show how many people responded? I mean, that I was passionate about it for 80 entries. Boy, I'm hot on this one. But Mrs. Black put in 1, and Mrs. Snyder put in 3. And so it'll show that we had 3 different human beings working on it, but 92 responses.
Yeah, there's ways to look at
Do you know
number
what I
of
mean?
participants, number of thoughts entered, number of
Yes.
stars applied. We can slice and dice usage any way you need to look at it to
Because
be,
it's such a challenge for probably anyone to get responses.
Right,
It's like,
yeah.
please tell us something, and the same 7
And is
people
this an app that people will have to download to use?
No, it's just
It's a
the way
text.
you would be sent a video to click on in your email
Okay.
from your grandchild, it'd be the same thing. You just click on it and then you go. The other quick thing I just wanted to show you is when there's contentious topics that emerge, I know it's really challenging to build middle ground sometimes. And so what we're able to show from the way that people assign stars to thoughts is how do different groups organize themselves and what's important to them. So what this is, it's called our hot topics analysis. And what you would, if you could read what it says on the screen there, Group A is starring these thoughts on the left really highly, while Group B in green is starring them really low. Conversely, on the right-hand side, Group A is starring those thoughts really low, and Group B is really high. There's some contention there. The middle of those 3 bars just above those thoughts is actually the common ground. So you can dig in there and understand that. So if a bunch of students want a football stadium built and a bunch of students think that that's really not a good idea at all, but in the middle are things like cleanliness of restrooms, ability to have a bit more independence at lunchtime, those sort of things. You can begin to understand what the low-hanging fruit or the things that are easy to make progress on in the middle, and build some empathy between the group as you need to address more contentious issues.
Is it usually recommended to stick with one group at a time rather than have parents and students interacting?
It's a great question. Oftentimes we'll do them simultaneously, but the students will have their own conversation and parents and adults and
yeah.
teachers will have a separate one. It's just
Makes
obvious reasons, right?
Yeah.
There's different language, there's different things that are important, and it's important to see. We just, when they cross-pollinate, it gets a little bit messy.
You're right, okay.
Okay. You can dig into demographics there as well on all of this stuff. The important piece I talked about, how this builds trust at the beginning. Closing the listening loop is really key. And so the way that we can help you show that as at the district level is by building websites that you can show the information publicly. So on the left is a version that's really quick and snappy way. After a public process, this is available within a couple days. On the right, one of our partner districts, Arcadia, this is the results from their most recent exchange around the LCAP this year. And it's just highlighting what's important in the district, what they appreciate, what their concerns are. We've been working with them for a few years now. On the back end, we can map out the progress on specific themes over the years, see how different trends are emerging and that sort of thing. I talked about the team. These are 4 of many. The thing that you should know is that they're a committed group of passionate people who really care about who we work with and the results that we do, or the results that we deliver.
You have a big team.
I'm
way
looking
do.
at the top now,
Yes.
finally.
Yeah.
I just thought it was these 4, okay.
Yeah, we're that team up top. That's most of us. Yeah, we're an organization, approximately 120 people. Some people that I don't necessarily deserve to be in the same room intellectually. There's some people with PhDs with computer science around artificial intelligence and stuff like that. They're miles ahead of anything I can conceive. And they're all there for the support of our partners. How does this relate to you? Where we're going to start, we've been talking about this and the area of stress among students and the impact it has on their lives, and how can that be addressed? I know that student wellness is always an area of concern, so that's the topic that we're working on to kick things off. And to your point about students having different conversations, we can allow for that. And I just wanted to give you a sense of where we can go. We can go into any. The tool is a tool that's not sandwiched into one particular application. It's available across any area where there's things that conversation needs to be had in an expedient way.
Are there targeted audiences? For example, what if one of the hot topics would be the theater that's going to be built at Estancia High School? So would we target the Estancia community first? Could you then expand it to a bigger community? You know, we want to paint it purple on the outside. What do you think, community? And we would get some response back quickly.
Yeah.
But then maybe we would we would say, okay, we got this group. We understand how the neighbors next door to the school will feel if we put
Sure.
Klieg lights up.
Yeah.
So they don't want that.
Yeah.
And then we can expand it out further. It seems like it's all, anything we could do, you could do.
It's this ability to expand or contract your target audience.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Or simultaneously.
Right.
right, yeah.
I mean, we want to include as many people as possible. That's the whole point of this. But sometimes
I
the
think
targets are
this is
lower.
really exciting. It's a new way. It actually reminds me a little bit. I think people will get engaged in it. It's like Facebook, you know. They go in and they see what other people. It's not just you're filling out
Right.
a thing. You're seeing other people's comments, and you're able to grade them. You're able to, maybe it stimulates a thought with you, and you see that a lot of people like this one. I think it's really interesting. I think, because obviously it's really hard to get people to just fill out surveys.
Sure.
You know, they're just kind of boring,
On
and
a 5-point Likert scale, which do you feel?
I
Sort of
know.
likely,
and
maybe
I've
possibly?
heard from a lot of people that they have more to say that that isn't in the
Yeah.
questions. So this is really, I think this is interesting. I'm happy we're trying this out.
Yeah. Can you expand a little bit just on the educational aspect of it? For example, you know, you've posed a question, sort
about
of
this.
looking at that question out there, and you mentioned casually at the very beginning that we could embed, or the staff or whatever could embed videos. Could you expand a little bit about the educational component that, you know, that it can serve, that if you put something up, you want to also educate so that they're responding to.
Absolutely.
They're learning something and just not responding to.
Right, so not educational as in classroom educational, but educational as far as community
Well, what is,
learning.
for example, our comment is stress.
Sure.
So what is it?
Yeah, what is it?
You know,
Yeah.
educating, I mean, is that part of
Yeah,
can
so
that be part of the tool?
So a lot of the coaching and support at the front end is making sure that the background and the preparation for the conversation is there. So that's so much as to say that there could be a newsletter 2 weeks in advance saying we're going to be having this thing called a thought exchange come out.
Okay.
And it's going to be around this. I've seen it highlighted in local newspapers with an access link in that, depending on what the conversation is. So then you can define what, you know, if we're looking at the stress that students are enduring, anybody can speak to that in the video and say why that's important, what is it that we're looking to learn here, and then as a participant, what's actually important is that I get whatever's on my heart or in my mind off my chest so that it's out there and a part of the conversation.
Great.
And is this unlimited use? Like we can use it for as many topics or as much as we want?
Absolutely. So there's a couple levels to our partnership. One is the fully supported exchanges that we've been talking about, and those we can do. We could do 8 in a year if you wanted to, if you had the capacity to handle that.
Sure we can.
Typically, we see 3, 4 large ones that get done, and as long as they don't overlap with each other. And I think that's important both from your side of things in managing information and participants' side of things so that they're not confused about what they're being asked.
And so how long do you normally keep a conversation going?
Depends on how quickly you need information back. We've had, so up in Mountain View, Wisman in the Bay Area, we completed our agreement, and the next day, basically, we launched a conversation about a school boundary change, and they needed information within a couple of weeks. Yeah, exactly. Highly successful conversation, by the way. That was open for 7 days. Typically, it's anywhere from 7 to 14 days, and we watch it together, and we'll kind of know, with our experience, we'll say, we think it's going to be about this long, and then we'll work together on that.
Man.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you don't want to do too many because people are like, oh, here's another
Right.
one.
Yeah.
And the information's so rich that you
Yeah.
don't need to do that.
Exactly.
So then on the back end, once the conversation is closed, then how do you assist, or who takes, help
Great. Yeah,
us
perfect.
understand what
Those
happens
shining
after
faces
that.
that were on the screen there.
Yeah.
So there was one that was called the senior professional services manager. So they're the one they're like the coach that's working with the team here. They're doing a couple things. They're at the front end, they're helping define objectives and goals for this conversation. From that, we'll build the data tools to align and meet the objectives that we're setting out to meet and inform. We'll walk and train the team here on how to mine that information, where to look for what, how these tools work, and then ongoing support. Hey, that was Kaylee who was on the screen. Kaylee, this is great. We need a little bit more information out of our high school here because we're looking at some facility conversations there. Can you help us just dig into that a bit more? Not a problem. Well, let me know what you need. I'll go and get it and get back to you as soon as I can. And then supporting her is a team of data analysts that are there and always running these tasks and preparing data for our partners.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wow, the potential is just.
They're going to have a great time,
exciting.
Russell. Thanks for bringing that.
Okay.
Great.
Before Matt sits down, I just want to thank him for his presentation.
you.
And also thank Heidi, who's next to him, for being so patient with me and having to come back after, because I think it took us like 3 or 4 months to finally, get me to the point and get our team to the point where we say, this might be something we've been looking for. So thank you for your persistence and support. And then, of course, to Russell and to John, who were at a symposium and saw this and brought it back and said, hey, we got to look into this. So it took some energy. It took a lot of time, and it was good to hear what was the other school. They bring samples of what the other districts have done, and the results are compelling. The results are compelling. And, we've been trying everything from, when I first came on board, we did huge forums, and those were great, but boy, it took 6 months to get through all that. And this is a streamlined manner, I think, of reaching a large contingent of our community and being able to manage the information in a way that we can get some good ideas and direction from.
And I think that it may start slowly while our communities trust the process and trust that we're going to use the data and it's not a waste of their time, and it's really important that we hear this. But the potential for us to receive information in a relatively short period of time from a vast amount of the community, it's exciting.
So that brings up another sort of question. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So
We already said our
I'm
goodbyes.
Canadian, by the way, so
we
you don't
already
need
said,
to
yeah.
apologize to me.
But we're talking about district. Will it be able to be used and customized with the okay of the district to say a particular high school has a particular question that they want their community or an elementary school or their community teachers, parents, and students to respond to, or maybe it's just maybe it's just the parents or the teachers or whatever. Will our schools have the ability to say, Russell, this is a burning question. I'm looking at for challenge success or those partnerships and saying that maybe Corona Del Mar wants to delve a little bit deeper into something else or one of them. Will they have to come to you to say, is that included in the process?
Yeah, well, the answer is yes, that the system absolutely allows for us to do a thought exchange for a specific community, a specific issue around a certain school or community, and that's the great thing about it. But yes, we would want the sites to be working with those of us at the district office.
Perfect.
And your point, but I'm sure you'd be working closely with the Public Information Office too, since it's like public information. Yeah, perfect. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay,
Sorry
thank you.
I'm sorry about pulling you aside.
I'd like to just say congratulations to you and your team. It's a great idea.
Wow.
And especially with
exciting.
the empathetic part to it, piece that's so important. I saw in your mission statements, and I just really want to congratulate you on being a positive change for it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 11C, a report on district and campus safety. Russell, Lisa?
Raptors don't sound like friendly visitors.
Raptors.
You know,
Speaking of
raptors sound like
topics.
mean and vicious. I do.
They're dinosaurs. They're the bad ones.
Oops. Nope, not yet, not yet. Okay. All right, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
This past June, I gave a very comprehensive update on all the safety things that we've been working very hard to implement here in the district. And the summer has been very busy. We've been implementing a lot of new things. What I want to do today is just focus on two of these new safety initiatives that we're very excited to have the board's support and to be in the process of implementing. So I will be talking about Raptor, which is our district-wide visitor management system. And then right after me, Dr. DiAgostino will be here to give the board an update on Titan, which is our emergency communication system. So, with that, starting with Raptor, first I want to talk about why we adopted Raptor. This is all about safety. This is about safety for our students, for our staff, and any visitors. We needed a district-wide standardized system. We have check-in procedures at all of our sites, but this gives us a district-wide system that we can use. And ultimately what it is to make sure unwanted individuals do not have access to our campus and, more importantly, access to our kids. And how does it work? And it's a very simple process. We've been involved in some training. So what I found was a short 1-minute video that will just give you a little taste of what this looks like and feels like. So this is a short little YouTube video from Raptor.
We're just going to start from scratch
A
here.
little bit louder.
The volume is just turned all the way down.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Now we can hear.
Here's how Raptor Technologies, the nation's leading visitor management system, works. Your new visitors give front desk personnel their government-issued ID. The staff member places the ID on the scanner connected to your Raptor system. Raptor searches through the sex offender registries of all 50 states in a matter of moments. It also checks your database for any custodial issues or known gang members. If a match or potential match is found, Raptor alerts you immediately. Raptor can also notify security personnel or local law enforcement via text message and email. If the visitor is cleared, Raptor prints a name tag with all of the necessary information. The visitor's name, destination, picture, time, and date. That's how it works. Contact us today to find out how Raptor can protect your school.
So the process itself is a very short process, less than a minute, and in many cases just seconds. And so as people get used to it, it's going to move very quickly. But I do want to give a few details for the board to know and our public to know that we have been working very hard to figure out exactly who's going to use the system and who doesn't have to use the system. So this is supposed to be for visitors and volunteers who have access to our campus. Employees who are at their own work site, of course, they're not going to have to use the system because they are not visitors. However, those of us who are employees of the district and who visit a school site, such as our Board of Trustees, district office personnel, we still need to follow the check-in procedures. So we check in through the system, we present our employee ID card, and we get processed that way. But it is very important that we will get the word out to all of our parents, all of our members of the community, that this is a new system, and more importantly, why we have this new system. Now, this is very important. People obviously are very concerned about confidentiality of their information. We're concerned about that. Raptor, of course, is very concerned about that. And we do have a very detailed privacy guidelines that the company has issued that we can share with any individual who wants to see the details. But the system only checks for name, first and last name, and date of birth. And that's the only information that they capture off of the government-issued ID. And that is used to scan, like the video said, the sex offender databases. And if there is a match, a confirmed match, then the administrator at the site is called to assist to talk to that visitor and deal with this on a case-by-case basis in a very discreet manner. But it gives us the opportunity to be notified and to address the situation. There are also some other benefits to the system. The first thing is that it maintains a log. So everybody who comes onto campus, the time, their destination, and when they leave is all logged into the system and maintained. For many of our volunteers who put in hundreds of hours at our school sites, this also is a way to maintain a log for all of those hours. So the clerical work that used to be done now can be done automatically using Raptor.
PTA's happy.
Yes. And also, in the event of an emergency, let's say we had an earthquake, and this is a way for the site administration to know exactly not only the students and the staff who's on the site, but also any visitors and where they're located on the site. So that helps out in emergency situations. And this satisfies 3 of the recommendations that the Orange County grand jury had made to our district and all the other Orange County districts. Number 1, a standardized visitor check-in system. Number 2, photo ID requirement. And number 3, maintaining a log. So this hits 3 of those recommendations. Now, when will this be implemented? I want you to know that we are already starting a transitional period this week. I want people to get used to the system without fully implementing it, because as you know, whenever you implement something new, there's always questions and issues that come about. So we're going to have about a 3-week period where we're calling this a transitional period, and sometime in mid-September, we will actually be fully implemented. How are we announcing this? I will be sending a letter on behalf of the district to all parents of the district outlining this new visitor system and the procedures that will be going out this week. We've already sent a memo to all employees of the district. That occurred last week. We've had training with our administration and our front office staff, and then we're just going to continue to work out all the questions and issues that arise. So having this transitional period, I think, is a good way to work through all of those. So in closing, I do recognize that this will be different for some people. I know that it will be slightly inconvenient, but I think we keep our focus on why we're doing that, and that is to maintain a safe environment for our students and staff. So that is Raptor. Any questions about Raptor?
Ms. Metoyer.
Of course I do. A couple of questions. How do our ID badges work if, where does Raptor read your information? So, I mean, I know a California driver's license has a magnetic strip on the back and all sorts of information is accessible with that. But if it's got a little smart computer that only picks up your name and then shoots it off,
Correct.
then it could pick this up, and that's one. And then how long does it take from drop to sticker? Because I anticipate the long line out the front door when it's at a certain time of day when all the volunteers come. And the other one was, what if one of our fabulous volunteers doesn't have a photo ID? So
Okay.
those are my 3 questions.
All right, let me make sure I remember. Going
I've
back
got
to
them
question
written
number 1 about employees with ID badges.
Yes.
So as you know, we all are required to have our ID badge and wear them, make them visible. So if we're visiting another site, right now our ID badges do not have a barcode on there.
No.
At some point, I would love to see barcodes added to our ID cards. Then we can just scan them, and it's tied to an employee database that could be tied to our employee ID number. Okay, so we will get there. But for right now, what we have is our employee names and our titles, and our locations will be inputted into the database. So all we have to do is let the front office staff know they can type in our name, and our name will automatically come up. Okay, so we're not asking our employees to present their California driver's license because we have our ID badge.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the first question. Second one was?
How long from ID drop to sticker?
We saw a real-time demonstration in the training.
Oh, okay.
And it's literally 15, 20 seconds.
Okay.
So when they drop that ID card into what they call a little toaster scanner, they drop that in there, it's literally 10 to 15 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm sorry, the third one.
That's okay. What if we don't have a photo ID?
So we did do some training with our administrators and front office staff, and they, we want to balance the welcoming environment with these safety procedures. And they do have some discretion to talk to the individual and to manually enter the information in the system. And then the next time they would say, please bring your ID, it would make this go a lot faster. So there are alternatives so that we don't have to turn anybody away. Right. And I do want to say that for a parent who is just there to drop off their child, drop off the lunch that they forgot to bring to school, we don't have to use this system. Drop-offs is just a drop-off. It's really when they pass through that front office door and they have access to the campus or access to classrooms and students. That's when we obviously want to go through this full process.
Mrs. Fleur.
So again, going back to no photo ID, are we going to be providing them information on where to get one? Because we know that there are many members of our community that don't have it at all, for whatever reason, whether it's fear, whatever it is, or they may have a passport, and I'm sure that can be used also, but there are members of our community that don't have that and don't have the ability to even pay for it, because even to get an ID card from the DMV is not cheap, not to mention the time that it takes to get it. So I'm concerned about that process. The second thing is, as you said, what if there are no students on campus? For example, do they have to show their ID if they're coming for teacher-parent conference or an assembly on our campus or after school or to sporting events? I mean, how far are we going in terms of access to our campuses? So I'm not opposed to it, but I just think that those conversations need to be had, and especially about providing them opportunities to get a photo ID, whether that's something we should be looking at, that we could take a picture of them, get their name, scan it in, and do something that allows, again, those individuals and those parents, and it may not even be the parent. It may be somebody that's the babysitter is picking the child up, or the grandmother is picking the child up, and child care. Well, but again, they may be coming because they have to go in and go into the nurse's office to get a sick kid.
But they have their name.
Yeah. So let me first talk about the situation with the no ID card. Okay.
Right.
And I will tell you that has been a big part of our discussions in terms of how we can use the system and be sensitive to the fact that we have parents who may have just forgotten their ID for that day, or for whatever reason don't have a driver's license. But we're looking for verifying identity. So it doesn't have to be a driver's license. It could be some other form of government-issued official identification. That really is the main thing. So it's not just driver's license and you have to go get that. Passport is certainly fine, a consulate card. There's actually a short list, but a list of various types of government ID cards that not only the scanner can read, but if it can't be read, another option is the administrator verifies their identity with the identification they do have, and they can manually enter it into the system. Okay. So there's ways that we can work with the individual.
Yeah, but.
And then if I can answer the second part is the events. And so part of what Raptor talks about, and they've been implementing this in districts all over the country, so they don't tell us exactly what to do, but they will advise us what many other districts do as best practices. But we have to distinguish between visitors that are just coming on a campus, maybe visiting a classroom, and an event. And so if we have an event and it's a large group, we obviously aren't going to line up all of our visitors and have them go through the system. But the point is still the same, that we need to make sure if we're having an event on a campus and other students are around, we still have to monitor and identify who's coming on campus and make sure any unwanted individuals are not allowed access.
Right.
Okay.
Mrs. Yelsey.
Yeah, I had the same question in terms of the time, because to me it seems like the best use of this is for control who's on campus, to know who's on campus, helping out the volunteers at the front desk, and it seems like 15 seconds is about how long it takes for them to sign their name, somebody to give them a badge, and move on. So I think that's okay. I'm curious, and maybe it's the only thing they can screen for is sex offenders. Maybe that's the only verified topic, because obviously there's other people we're concerned about being on campus that for that purpose would be more would be meaningful.
Right. And you heard it mentioned, but very briefly on the video. So first of all, the scan is only the sex offender databases across the country. And legally, that's the only thing we can scan. That's the only thing that the system is able to do. So I do want to assure people that if you give that ID, they're not counting how many traffic tickets you have or other types of
psychological
things.
problems that have been
So it doesn't have access to that. However, we do have the ability through this system to create a customized alert. So if we have a restraining order against an individual, that we can input into the system, and if that person tries to enter any of our campuses, it will stop that.
So on any campus up front, you could probably do that you have a name of, a school has all the names of people who have restraining orders or aren't allowed to be on campus.
Well, another common one is custodial issues.
Right. Yeah.
So one parent does not have legal rights to have access to the child, and that can be put into the system.
So we could do that up front.
Absolutely. And we're in the process of doing that.
The other thing to remember is, and I'm sure everybody's doing this, is volunteers that are in schools, they have to fill out, they have to have
clearance.
Their prints, background checks, so that's kind of a secondary thing as well, that we know who they are.
Correct, and I didn't get into that aspect of Raptor, but Raptor does have a whole feature on volunteer approval process. And once they're approved, they're in the system. And the other thing is there's a kiosk option. And we plan to implement that at all of our schools as well, where a volunteer who comes regularly, they might come 3-4 times a week. We don't want them to be any more inconvenienced, nor do we want our front office staff. So they can come in, scan their ID through a barcode reader, and just automatically get their badge for the day.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So we want to try to make this very practical, very usable for everybody. And we will be launching the volunteer component of this, but we wanted to take care of the visitor part first.
Sure. Okay, Ms. Matoye.
When Mrs. Fleur was talking, I was also, when we enroll our students, we have to have some form of ID to enroll the students in addition to the child's ID, do we not? Isn't that part of it?
Yes, there's residency, proof of residency.
So
and
there's
various
some
forms.
form of ID automatically in the family, maybe not with the babysitter or Aunt Mary, who's really the childcare during the day. So
If you enroll our students, it's not through the school. You go to the
Welcome
you
center.
go to the but it's address verification. So it's not
ID.
necessarily ID verification.
Oh, okay.
It's you have to. That's one form of showing.
Okay.
You have to show an ID for address verification.
You have to show like an electric bill or something.
Right.
You have to have all everything.
There's 3 different areas. I mean, I remember.
Passport,
And one of them
taxes.
was some identification that you are who you say you are because you're the one enrolling the children.
Yeah,
So,
and I do
it
want
could be
to.
a bunch of things.
Sorry, I do want to comment. Something came up in earlier point about checking out students. Now, obviously, when we are releasing a student to an adult in the middle of the day. That's at the highest level of making sure that we know exactly who that person is, that they are on the emergency card, you know, as a person able to do that. So, and again, this system will help, but it's not going to really change that much because the schools are already doing that part.
So once they've done it once, or will the visitor have to do it every single time? But the volunteer component is once, and then they go to a kiosk.
Well, we do want them to, every time they come, to bring their ID, whether it's handed to a live person who puts it through that scanner, or if they walk up to a kiosk and they use a barcode reader, or they self-type in their name and date of birth. Either way, you know, it'll be streamlined for the second and any subsequent visit much faster than the first.
Okay, great.
And then I was thinking, along PTA lines, you mentioned you'll know when you come and you'll know when they leave. You'll know how many hours they were on campus. How do you have to rescan it again when you leave?
So the checkout process, and this is part of what we're going to have to train people to do,
of course,
is they check in through the front and they exit through the front. Okay,
really good
which is hard because I know there's a lot of easier ways to get to the parking lot, but we have to train people to check out. And the checkout is simply returning your badge and the front office staff clicking a button on their name that they've checked out. And that records the time that they have left.
Or if not, they're going to get that, hello, this is Costa Mesa High School. You didn't check out today.
Mrs. Ford, you're apparently still at Costa Mesa High School.
What they advise is the next time that visitor comes, just a reminder, please check out, you know,
Well, I
this
think you ought to
direction.
get the call, personal call.
It's going to take a little time for people to get
Yeah,
used to it. so.
it'll become the norm, I think, within a few short weeks.
Okay, thank you
All
very
right.
much. Thank you.
And Dr. D'Agostino?
Oh, but wait, there's more.
Oh, yeah.
Where is he? There he is.
The Titan.
Come in through the middle school.
Thank you, Russell. Good evening, President Snell, Vice President Matoye, members of the board, Dr. Navarro, and cabinet and guests. Just wanted to give you an update on the rollout, or actually the ramp up, of the Titan emergency broadcast system. As you know, last spring, you approved the expansion of the Titan emergency broadcast system throughout the entire district, not only at all 32 schools, but throughout classified staff and other employee groups as well. So I wanted to just give you an update on that. In collaboration with Titan, first of all, and based on the advice and training that we've received with partner agencies like local law enforcement and FBI and their publications, as well as research that we have done on our own school safety issues, we developed a communication structure that's going to allow for the broadcast notifications through our organization all the way down from teachers up to the superintendent and the board. In late July, all cabinet members, directors, and site administrators were trained on Titan. All of our principals, 32 of them, were trained at the Leadership Advance on August 13th and the 14th, and we are currently drilling with principals this week to ensure their familiarity and comfort with the Titan platform. As you probably know, all of our secondary schools adopted Titan at least a year ago or longer, so they're doing refresher trainings with their staffs this week. All of our secondary schools will be live on the first day of school. We're developing a webinar training model for our elementary staffs. Our plan is to roll out these webinar trainings at times that weekly professional development training occurs, either early outs or late starts. We're going to be grouping staffs to be watching the webinar training. As elementary principals become more comfortable with the platform, we'll be sending out communications to parents that Titan will be live at sites and available to them. Our completion target date for this project was originally November 1st for full implementation, but we're confident that we're going to be completed with our implementation goals well ahead of that. In the meantime, Blackboard continues to be used for all of our broadcast messages, and there is nothing needed from parents to receive messages from either platform. They sync with the student information database on a nightly basis, so all of the emails and phone numbers and contacts are automatically updated daily. I want to stress that Titan is but one of many multiple ways that we're trying to enhance the safety of all of our schools and students and staff throughout the district. We are hopeful that this multi-pronged approach is going to allow us to manage a crisis as best as we can until such time that law enforcement and emergency responders arrive and do what they do best, which is to really protect us, our students, and our staff. So that's kind of where we are with Titan right now, and I'm happy to take any questions that you might have.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Okay, that's the
I
question.
guess I think one of the things is, can you expand on the types of emergency messages? Because I was sort of like taken aback that you could call for a typhoon, you could call for weather.
Right. So as you know, Titan HST is a multinational company. They are marketing themselves to a variety of different organizations, ranging from companies that have multiple offices on multiple floors in skyscrapers, all the way down to school districts. You might have heard recently that they've secured some contracts with large collegiate entities as well. So that's why there's a lot of various alerts, different types of alerts. There's obviously weather alerts for those schools that live in such areas as Tornado Alley or the southern states that have frequent hurricane advisories and things of that nature. As soon as we're trained on the basic elements of how to broadcast, how to receive broadcasts, we're probably going to be tightening up those alerts just to have alerts that are particularly unique and applicable to our community and our geography. So the training, we are aware, one of the things that came out of the training is that it was a lot of information in a short amount of time and kind of drinking water out of a fire hose. So we have planned to do some refresher follow-ups briefly at K-12 principal meetings and quarterly debrief meetings, just to make sure that everybody stays on top of the basic elements of how to use Titan. I do want to say there's, you know, there may be the question, why are we moving to Titan? In the 3 years that I've observed this platform, I think it has one of the best forward-thinking types of opportunities to expand its use to other safety applications. Right now, we're very excited about the fact that we can broadcast between stakeholder groups, principals to teachers, and vice versa. But we are also looking forward, and we want something that's adaptable, something that will grow with our organization, and something that will meet what are the challenging and changing safety needs that all districts are grappling with right now. So we believe that Titan is that kind of adaptable, dynamic platform that we're looking to grow with as we move forward as a district.
Are teachers are you planning on training all teachers at the same time, or
Right,
and
so
board members and
yeah, Mrs. Black, what we're going to do is at the secondary level, all the teachers are already trained. So all of the secondary schools are
But they've
live.
been working on it.
Right, and they've been working on it. So right now, this week, we are drilling with principals. I did 2 drills this afternoon that were sent out to principals. We'll drill through the rest of the week. Then what we're going to be doing is scheduling webinar trainings for staffs at the elementary level. And so that's how we're going to end up training all the elementary teachers. We've also trained right now all of the classified directors. So classified directors in nutritional services, fiscal, other areas have also been trained. And then we're eventually going to move out down towards classified employees. The most important stakeholder groups that we believe need to be trained right away were the principals and the teachers. And so that's why we're working very aggressively right now to have them completely trained and get ahead of that deadline that we've set for ourselves to make sure everybody's using that platform appropriately.
I heard correctly. Thank you for
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Dr. D'Agostino, before you leave, I did ask Dr. D'Agostino to respond to some information that was published in a local daily pilot, and I got the information from Mrs. Yelsey, and there was some glaring misinformation in there. A lot of, so, you know, right now we're talking about using current technology to the best of our ability. It's very important. But this particular piece omitted the fact that we have focused a lot of resources on addressing the mental conditions of our students. So I'd ask Dr. D'Agostino to share with you some of that information.
Sure. So I just, Dr. Navarro asked me, what are the initiatives that are going on in student services? What have we been doing? And I think we're asking for the official motto to be "No moss grows on us" as a division, because we have been quite busy. And just to give you some of the updates in the areas of personnel and training and partnerships, as you know, last year we hired 2 additional school social workers, at a cost of about $250,000. This summer, or spring, we hired 4 additional school psychologists at a cost of over $480,000, and those are ongoing costs that are going to be coming out of the general fund. All these individuals will share in the delivery of psychological support services, conduct risk assessments, and participate in crisis response and be parts of our threat assessment teams. We are reconfiguring our school social worker caseloads. We had one school social worker that was originally dedicated just to drug and alcohol education and intervention. We're now sharing that responsibility among all the 4-zone social workers, where we feel that there will be no decline in services in the area of drug education and intervention for first-time drug offenders, because we've also recruited over 20 social work interns to work under our social workers and manage caseloads of students and families. So the Navigate program is going to be now at each school site, district, zone, school, and run by a social worker, which effectively now frees up an additional social worker that was doing it throughout the entire district. So we believe that it's a smarter way to use our social workers who are in such high demand. As you know, we hired a coordinator of student services, Sarah Coley. I think you met her. Very happy that she is on board. She's going to be working in the areas of homelessness and foster issues, truancy and attendance, and other responsibilities. This is going to allow me to work more closely with the school principals on assessing threats, dealing with issues that have to do with restraining orders and custody matters, divorce, civility issues. We've already had 2 civility issues at school sites, and school hasn't even started yet. We're proud of the fact that we jumped on those right away, and they are being managed appropriately. What we're most proud of coming out of the gate on September 14th is the training on the threat assessment team model in partnership with 3 groups, and I think I'm going to be talking about one a little bit later, and that is Dr. Jose Navarro and his work as a certified threat assessment manager. But we are, on September 14th, we will be training all 32 principals on the threat assessment team model. That's going to be in partnership with Dr. Navarro, as well as Jeff Cuneo, who is agent for the FBI in the LA division. We have a plan to implement restorative culture and restorative practices throughout all of our teaching staffs in a 3-year rollout. As you know, we have annual training on suicide prevention and annual training on LGBTQ support for all secondary teachers and administrators. And our suicide prevention and education is K-12. We are going to continue training at the assistant principal and principal meetings on dynamic ways to respond to student discipline. As you know, we have safety committees that we created with our collective bargaining units. We have a quarterly safety meeting with law enforcement officers. We are currently exploring the what we believe eventually will be the placement of wellness centers on school sites. That's a huge undertaking. It's not something that we're going to do overnight, but that is something we are actively exploring and talking to schools and other leaders about. And we are also exploring the idea of universal screenings and universal screenings, benchmarking that at certain grade levels. That is also not something that we're just going to jump right into. We know, the research tells us, that 1 out of 5 kids is presenting with anxiety and depression. We're well aware of that statistic. We're well aware of the need to respond to that statistic. We believe that wellness centers and universal screenings are ways to move in that direction. Those are huge undertakings. They would require significant resources, so we want to make sure we have our ducks in a row as we move forward and bring information to you. As far as partnerships, we continue to partner with our Community Alliance, over 30 partners in the community, Challenge Success. Mr. Lee Sung mentioned the Raptor Visitor System and Titan as communication systems. I think probably the most strongest testament to what we're doing as a district in the area of safety in a multi-pronged way were the comments that I received after giving a presentation last week in Burbank to the Joint Regional Intelligence Center, which is an organization that is made up of the LA County Sheriff's Department, the FBI, the Secret Service. I was asked by Jeff Cuneo from the FBI to give an update on what's going on in a typical district like Newport-Mesa when it comes to safety. And this meeting came out of an agent that came to the district actually and asked Dr. Navarro, hey, I'd really like to help you guys out, develop like a social worker program and a psych response team. And so I met with Fred, he's the FBI agent who works with Jeff. And after hearing what we do, he asked us to present. I went up there and presented, and we got a lot of kudos from a lot of high-ranking law enforcement officials about our holistic 360-degree view towards school safety. So I think between the things that we're doing that are led by Mr. Lee Sung in the Raptor and visitor entry and the technologies that we're using, as well as our psych support services team, the social workers, the psychologists, the counselors, we are positioning ourselves to be as prepared as we possibly can. Once again, there is no guarantee when a parent comes and says, can you keep my kids safe? Well, we are doing everything we can to create the safest possible conditions at our schools. But the reality is, as I talked about in my presentation last week in Burbank, there are some inherent structural, political, geographical, organizational issues that plague schools. The layout of our campuses, for one, was not designed for a school shooter. So those are all things that we're thinking through and working on, as all school districts are and as all school leaders are. So once again, I'm proud to be a part of this organization, proud to be a part of the effort that is going into school safety, and certainly happy to answer any questions that you might have about that and continue to do the best work that I can for the students and families of this district. Thank you.
Ms. Yelsey.
Yeah, Dr. D'Agostino, I want to thank you for this. I mean, it really is a complete program, and I think we all are very proud of being part of this. And I know over time, none of this is new to us. It's things that you've presented at board meetings to us. And for me, for a member of the public who has heard this at board meetings, to go out in public and state falsehoods about what we're doing and saying we're not doing enough is really very unfortunate and reprehensible, in my opinion. So I do appreciate you reiterating this list of things that we already are doing.
Thank you. Mrs. Fleur.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Titan and Raptor are maybe 10% of the gizmos that we're using, that they're just the gizmos. The rest of it is all people. It's us. It's our teachers. It's our administrators. It's this district. And it's our families and the PTAs who are the backbone of this program, of what we're doing for children. I think that one thing that I would like you to expand upon, and not at this meeting because we're already way over, and we haven't even gotten to the meeting yet, is our partnership with our families and our parents, and talk to us at a future meeting about that partnership and what we're, working with the PTAs and how we're embracing them and supporting them as they deal with a myriad of issues with their youngsters.
Sure. Let me just briefly respond to that with two things we're doing this year. We have a parent education series in partnership with the Harbor Council PTA. We've narrowed that to 9 to 12 topics that we're going to be rolling out. Our first Parent Ed Series event is happening at the end of September. These are 9 to 12 topics that came to us from the parent community. We will be talking about wellness, educating your child in a broken family or a divorce situation, mental health. All of those things are topics that are going to be a part of the Parent Ed series that we're doing in partnership with Harbor Council PTA. The other thing, just briefly, we will be reconstituting our wellness task force that will be meeting quarterly, and that wellness task force came out of the suicide education and prevention legislation. So we will be reconstituting our task force. It'll be a quarterly meeting also, and that's happening at the end of September as well. So we're very much aware of that need and your awareness of it, and happy to stay on top of that.
Thank you so much.
Mrs. Matoye.
Where are the parent meetings going to take place?
So the Parent Ed Series is going to happen throughout the district. So we're going to rotate it through the 4 zones. There may be some topics that between the Harbor Council PTA and our team in Student Services are going to be putting together that we might feel it might be better to have this one over here at Costa Mesa or this one over there at Newport Harbor. And so we're going to try to meet the needs of all of our stakeholder families by these with these particular Parent Ed series. And that's going to be broadcast on Peach Jar. It's going to be broadcast on our Blackboard. We're going to be doing all calls and letting parents know about it. It'll be about a 45 to 60-minute presentation followed by 45 minutes of question and answer.
And it'll be district-wide notice.
It'll be district-wide notice and experts in the field.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Yes. Okay. Moving on, number 12, informational items. Dr. Navarro.
Not to belabor the issue, but I think it's important, you hear the passion, and I think Phil epitomizes the commitment that your staff has to this. And, we ask ourselves every time we get together and we look at, what direction are we going to go, what recommendations will we make to the board, to really personalize this, that, and you can tell, we ask ourselves, if my kids were in this school or if my kids were in this district, what would I want this district to do? And I think you could tell that Dr. DiAgostino really was speaking from that perspective. He's working out there in loco parentis, and he's considering this as if his children are in these situations. I think you can hear that when Mr. Lee Sung was speaking. These are things that we're doing not to be controlling, but to make sure that it was what we would want for our very own children. So I want to thank Phil and Russell for that. And I want you to know that that's what drives all of this.
Well, we asked you that question.
Yes,
Do
you did.
Your children, and
That's
we've
right.
asked it as board
Yes, you
members
did.
to our superintendent.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I do have a couple little things I want to share with you. First, I want to tell you, you have some amazing unsung heroes. People who work behind the scenes that, just do their work, do it really, really well, and all of a sudden it's just done, And, yeah, certainly we can look at the Ed Division and all the trainings that they went through and all the teachers that showed up for math training and, on their own time, and those are important. But then there's the people behind the scenes, that carry the hammers and the brooms and, mow the lawns, and that's really in Jeff and Tim's division. So you had 6 schools that got AC this summer, and their goal was to have it up and running for teachers on the day they returned. So they wanted it operational by August 27th, and they met their goal.
Wow.
And that was nothing short of a miracle to do as many. That's about twice as many AC projects as we've done in any year prior. You also have 3 schools that were remodeled, so they have a single point of entry, and nobody can get to a classroom without going through the principal's office first, which is what Mr. Lee Sung was talking about. How do we control and know who's going on? And you'll get to see all of these sites tomorrow when we take you on a tour of the district. Also, you have a team in the warehouse that just got applause from the Ed Division. They recently processed about 30,000 middle grade math books. Okay? And from my understanding, it took them about 4 days to do it.
Wow.
So from when they were shipped in, and the boxes were about 12 feet high, stacked throughout the whole warehouse. And those gentlemen and the team over there worked throughout the days to try and get those counted, processed, stamped, and reboxed and loaded onto the trucks to get them out to all the schools so that they would be there before teachers arrived, so that the schools are ready with their books. Just an incredible effort. You look at the construction that's taken place, all of the training that's gone on with our supervisors, and transportation right now is just getting back on its feet, getting get ready. We'll be one of their first 2 rides, before for the year. But I just think it's important to recognize all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. I think at one of our schools, schools. There was new carpet laid just over the weekend to be ready for the school year. So they're working hard, they're working feverishly, and their goal is to have everything ready so that when kids come, it's all done and they're welcome.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to share with you, and Mrs. Snell got this, it is from the county. It is our approval of our local control and accountability plan. And I just wanted to read the one paragraph here. I don't know if Vanessa's seen this, but the paragraph says,
Poor Vanessa.
so it's a couple sentences only. The district is to be commended for a highly transparent plan summary, including detailed dashboard data explanation. The Newport-Mesa Unified School District included many promising initiatives, such as continuing to provide district teachers on special assignment in science, technology, math, and visual arts and performing arts, offering multiple career technical education pathways representing industry sectors, staffed by CTE credentialed teachers, and providing additional mental health supports to help students and families with mental health and emotional issues. So just congratulations, Vanessa, and that's feedback from the county.
Nice job for 300 pages, right?
Now, are you starting the new one now? That's what I figured. Okay, wonderful, thank you. Okay, on to community input.
Oh, okay, this is an opportunity for the public to address the board on consent calendar agenda items or on non-agenda items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Per Board Policy 9323, each individual speaker will have 3 minutes to cover one or multiple topics, and speakers may not cede unused minutes to other speakers, and there is a maximum of 20 minutes of comments per topic. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public comments, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to speak. The board, staff, and members of the public may request that a specific item on consent be moved to discussion action. Requests to move consent items must be received prior to the time the board takes action on the consent calendar. Depending upon the nature of the comments, the board president or superintendent may respond, or the president may call upon board members for brief comments, questions of clarification, provide a reference to staff or other resources for factual information, or request the superintendent to report back to the board at a subsequent meeting concerning the matter. However, in compliance with board policy and the Ralph M. Brown Act, the board is not permitted to take action on non-agenda items. When addressing the board, it is helpful if you state your name and address for the record.
Okay, our first speaker is Cynthia Blackwell.
Good evening. The other day we were watching the news, KTLA, and they had the story on the news that Rancho Cucamonga, Chaffee, and Altaloma had, within the first 3 weeks of school, had 5 suicides at their school sites. One as young as 10 years old, a 4th grader. And as you know, it's a club we hated to join, but our family had to. And so I'm very passionate about this. And so I went on to, I've been doing some work with the organization that goes out and speaks to different high schools and junior high schools. Placentia Unified has been using them for years. A couple of, 3 years ago at a fundraiser, one of the gals that got up to speak as the keynote speaker, she said the day that they came to her high school, which was Esperanza, she had planned to go home that day and take her life. And instead, she got cooked up with this organization. She got the resources she needed. She went on to become Miss Teen Placentia and then went on to become Miss Anaheim, and now she's a spokesman that goes out and talks to people. So there's all these great resources that are available for free that will come out and talk. And so then I went and looked at our website, the district website, and it says each school site has trained professional student support teams that work collaboratively with parents. And so my one concern is, how do the parents know who the people are on those teams? Is it posted on the school district, or not the school district, but each site's individual school site? So if a parent feels that they're in crisis, or a student, do they know who to reach? Is it easily found on the homepage of each school? And if not, maybe we could look into doing that. And then the other thing was, do all the teachers know who the student support team is on their school sites? Because sometimes we're like, oh yeah, I think it's somebody. So anyway, just those two things. And then when the fellow from the Y was talking, that reminded me about when we used to have this program called Youth Achievers, which some of you may remember, that was with the Y, which was a fabulous program. So I'm glad to see the Y is coming back and working with us. And then when they were talking about the Raptors program, I have to say, if you've ever come to Kaiser and Denise Bauermeister was at that front desk, you were not getting on our campus unless you had been approved. You always felt safe when you knew she was in the office. And so will that program make the need for all the parents to be fingerprinted who want to volunteer? Is that going to go away, the fingerprinting part of the volunteering? Because that was a huge thing that they had to do. So that wasn't addressed by Mr. Lee Sung. So I was just curious if that, or will if you just come in and you clear the scanner thing, will that allow you to then to come on campus to be a volunteer? So anyway, I just wanted to, I am going to be on the Wellness Task Force. I'm very excited. Thank you very much, Mr. D'Agostino, Dr. D'Agostino, to be a part of that. But I just want to remind you that we don't want to find ourselves in the position of these other 3 districts being reactive instead of proactive. So thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you want to speak
Just
to that?
real quickly, just a reminder to the entire community that we are working with Challenge Success, and they are serving, Coronel Del Mar is going to be a Challenge Success school, but they're serving Newport Harbor High and our other schools as well. And they are the preeminent authority on addressing cluster suicides like the ones that just happened in that other district. And they learned from the cluster suicides that happened in Palo Alto 10, 12 years ago. And so we have an agreement with them. The board brought them on our recommendation last spring, and they are working in the district to provide those services. And I think I will ask Mr. Lee Sung or Mr. D'Agostino if they want to add anything about how we operate at schools when it's referred to us, either through an employee or through a family, that we have a teen who is at risk, maybe a danger to themselves, or is who a threat, maybe a danger to others. So Dr. D'Agostino, if you could just respond to that, please.
Thank you, Dr. Navarro. So as it pertains to students who present with anxiety and depression, we do have one of the things we're doing this year is to roll out training to students for suicide prevention and education. We plan on meeting with student leaders. One of the first groups that we're going to be talking with is the Superintendent's Student Advisory Committee. That's going to be one of their big areas of focus this year, is to be a part of that partnership and be properly educated and trained. We do have Signs of Suicide, which is the district-adopted suicide education platform for students. We have not moved in the area of developing or adopting a suicide education program for elementary students yet. There's a lot of conversation around that, but the member of the community is correct. This is something that goes down into the elementary levels as well. Should a student present with suicidal ideation or self-harming behavior, we get counselors and psychologists involved right away. We conduct risk assessments right away. We get the parents involved right away. We also, on occasion, will use outside resources like the county's CAT team, which responds to these kinds of things. If that requires an involuntary hold or a 5150, as they say, then we move in that direction. Those are determinations made by those agencies independent of us. But we're always monitoring those situations and following up with the parents and the families. And we do have a care plan that is put into place if a student returns after a self-harming event or an event that involved suicidal ideation. And that post-event care plan also includes monitoring and support. We agree that making this issue something that students and families are aware of, that we are here to support, that we are here to help, is something that we want to continue to explore and put more information towards. One of the things that I'm exploring right now is possible signage in restrooms that will say something like, if you need support, if you're concerned, if you're experiencing thoughts of depression, here's who you can call or here's who you can talk to. We do have suicide hotline posters in the nurses' offices. We also have those posters at school sites at various locations. I couldn't tell you specifically where, but I know that there are suicide hotline posters in our nurses' offices as well. So, look, it's an ongoing conversation and initiative for us to make sure that families and students are aware and that those support systems are in
And
place.
teachers go to their principals, whoever.
Well, the single most influential
Yeah,
person in a kid's life
Yeah.
is their teacher.
Yeah.
The research bears that out.
Yeah.
So our belief is, who should we be training first on suicidal ideation and education? It's our teachers, because they should, rightly so, have a pulse on their 180 students. There should be that expectation. When I was a teacher, I knew my kids. I had a little index card of each of those kids, who their parents were, what their home phone number was, what their likes were, what their likes weren't. We did that at the first. There's an amazing training that the Corona Del Mar Zone did yesterday. Big thing that their challenge was, get to know 3 things about all of your kids that isn't school related. And make that your commitment to know every kid on that level. So yes, you are correct that the teacher, we believe, is the powerful nexus to help us with this. We're glad we're in partnership with our teachers, and we think that we're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. Ms. Metoyer.
And are we not moving towards, the sites have been asked to redesign their websites or look at their websites, so that's certainly, as part of that, we can make sure that it's clearly identified, that there's a place on every school site's website that parents and students know that they could innocuously click on that when they don't have to ask someone. It would be there. Sometimes the things we need the most are deeply buried amongst layers of click here, click there. So like,
Yeah, we need to,
So
I
we're
think,
working on that.
in all frankness, I think we need to do a better job of moving that language up to the forefront. So that is one of the things I did talk to Ms. Franco about that in terms of tip lines and things like that. We are moving in the direction of having a tip line information on the same place, in the same spot on every website. I know Annette is working on that. I don't want to speak, but put words in her mouth. But I think that was the conversation we had. Was that doing okay? All right. So that was the conversation we had earlier this week. We do want to remove the stigma of coming to a teacher or coming to. So we want to put language in there about that. So we are working on those things.
every opportunity. If a child is comfortable with going to a teacher, go to the teacher. If
Yeah.
you're not, there's got to be other options.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay,
Sure.
Mrs. Yelsey.
Are there any other comments?
One more?
No, comment cards.
Oh.
They're all talking about the
I
cards.
have a comment on this one.
I don't have a comment on this. I was waiting to comment on consent calendar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a,
Sorry.
I have a comment on this one.
Okay,
And I guess
briefly, yeah.
briefly from a board's perspective, I think it's incumbent upon us as board, because we have, one of our duties is policies and bylaws and procedures. And I believe it is time for us as a school, time for us as a school district to start looking at those policies that need to be and have those courageous conversations about stress eliminators, grading policies, start time. We need to start addressing those issues, homework policies, grading policies, all those conversations, which at the board level is our duty and our responsibility to do. Period, amen, and finish. That's our job. That's what we're elected to do, is protect the students and the families and the aspirations of those children. And so I think that it's incumbent upon us as a board, and Dr. Navarro, and Mrs. Snell, I would really think that we should be having a study session to establish what our priorities are and what we should be focusing on in this area. We know that staff is doing fabulous work, but how do we as a board support that through policies? And that's something that we need to have a conversation about and come to some conclusions, because to be real honest, our policies, while we take a lot of the policies from CSBA, they're not really addressing this in a manner that that we could go further with, and I think that we need to, and so I would appreciate scheduling that sort of a study session or some sort of a process by which we can have those conversations and start this ball rolling.
Okay, moving on. Sorry.
Next speaker.
Getting the flag out, that's it.
No, really.
The board member
Ruth
flag.
Kobayashi. We haven't been able to talk all summer, I guess. That's why we're talking
You've
so
all
much.
missed each other.
I guess so.
Good evening, my name is Ruth Kobayashi, and I'm now a Newport-Mesa Unified School District alumni parent. Parent alumni?
Love you.
Whatever.
Yeah, congratulations.
And usually I talk off this, and tonight I'm going to talk off this. Because today I dropped my youngest off to college, and so that's the last one out the door. So I've got to find things to fill that nest with. But I still care so much about this district and these kids, and so it's important to me to see what's going on and to be able to be an advocate in the community. But I just wanted to share with you that anticipating this day that we had today, I spent some time talking to my daughter about her favorite teachers at Corona Del Mar High School. And not because I thought I'd be talking about it here, just I wanted to hear. And it was really interesting hearing what she had to say. She named about 5. Mr. Zebarth, because she loves technology and media. She's a cinema media arts major in college. Miss Polly Chronopoulos, because she's the best math teacher on the planet. My daughter likes math, and she took her statistics notes with her to college because she's got to take stats, or she's like so ready because of Miss P. And then what was really interesting were the other 3 that she mentioned. Miss Hughes, because she was so kind to her when she struggled with Spanish. Miss Palmer, because she's the best Spanish teacher, and it was so hard, but she learned so much. And Mr. Captan, because he's an amazing teacher. The irony of that, 3 of those teachers teach subjects that she either hates or thinks she's terrible at. And I thought that spoke volumes about the teachers, because those weren't the subjects that come easy to her at all. And I was thinking, because because of the cycle that we're in right now in the community and in the public eye and in the press, a couple things I was thinking about. One is those teachers don't happen by accident. Those teachers happen because people up here spend the money and make the decisions to make sure we get the best teachers and that they're the best prepared. Those teachers are led by incredible principals. I feel like we've really got the A-team over there. And some of those principals were recruited personally by that gentleman right there. So I just want to remind you that you don't always get the recognition that you should. Nobody's perfect. The district isn't perfect. None of you are perfect. But I think there's an opportunity for the community to know more about the really good things that are happening, and that the dominance of what's discussed in the community publicly by people who write or people who publish, who I respect their right to have an opinion, but I don't like that it's the only voice. So I would just like to encourage you to be more proactive. A lot of what we heard tonight, be more proactive. I'm sorry I went over, but thank you.
Thank you very much.
I just love that mother.
Marty O'Mara.
No, it makes it easy for us to come when we know we have parents like you out there. So,
You made great
thank
cookies,
you for
too.
that.
Good evening, Dr. Navarro, President Snell.
It doesn't matter.
And trustees, sorry. I would like to know how you're going to address the new data that shows that the 3-year progress for students now in 8th grade showed no progress in language arts, and their math scores dropped 7% points. I am definitely not a political person at all. I've always thought of school boards as non-political and believed that they were all for what was best for kids. How naive am I? During the 2016 election, Ms. Snell, Black, and Fleur were running for office. Mesa Verde homeowners tried to host a forum meeting on school issues. This organization is totally non-political. All 3 chose not to attend and offered no alternative dates. I assume they didn't want the exposure. There's another election coming up in November, and the district gave 2 trustees running for office the big write-up and free publicity to over 22,000 parents. No information on others running for trustee positions. How is that nonpartisan? And guess what? Just like in 2016, when the trustees would not participate in a forum, the 2 trustees running for office, Mrs. Matoya and Mrs. Yelsey, will not attend a totally non-partisan forum. Trustees, you've talked about for 4 years about transparency, but you don't want the public to know where you stand on major school issues. The Toast to the Stove Forum is totally non-political. It is very informal. It's more like a discussion. It is being held October 1st at 7 p.m. at Fairview Community Church, the corner of Fairview and Fair. Mrs. Matoya and Mrs. Yelsey, it is time to step up to the plate and tell the public your views on key issues. There were several very good points tonight. Why not bring it up? This is what's going on in the district. Speak up. Don't just disappear. I hope you will change your mind and participate in the forum. Thank you.
I do have a comment. Both of the forum in 2016 and the forum in 2018 are not are biased forums. They're put on. I listened to you. It's not an opinion, Marty. It's not an opinion. What you had endorsed the slate, and I don't believe that you should endorse a slate, put on a forum, and call it unbiased. That's just my personal opinion. These ladies can do what they want. So, thank you very much.
Vicki, can I just make one comment?
Yes,
also, Harbor Council PTA, in conjunction with the League of Women Voters, is putting on a forum that I believe all the candidates have been invited to, and that will be a chance where we will be open to discuss all the wonderful things or answer any questions or say whatever else we want to say.
Exactly.
So there
Thank
will
you.
be a forum.
Okay, our last speaker is Pat Burns.
Oh, my goodness.
Holy cow. Gosh, I've heard nothing but doom and gloom, and I'm here to tell you I'm going to talk about something happy.
Yay. Great.
Happy. Okay, I'm Pat Burns, co-founder of the largest children's book festival in North America. I want to make sure this board knows about it. It's on the campus of Orange Coast College. We draw 20 to 25,000 families to this one-day event, free parking, free admission, put on by an all-volunteer team. No one's on payroll. We have 6 stages, a STEM stage, an entertainment stage, an animal stage, an early reader to teen stage, and an illustrator stage. This event draws people from all over Southern California, and it's in your neighborhood. And I wonder how many of you have it on your calendar, September 30th, okay? I am going to leave bookmarkers here for you all.
Thank you.
To grab when you're ready to go home at 10 o'clock tonight. Also,
We're going to take a break, right?
our partners are the Orange County Department of Education, the Orange County Public Libraries. The Department of Education's logo is on our bookmarks. They allow us to print and bundle and package to over 700 teachers in the district. All volunteers are doing this.
Thank you.
And we
Thank
are
you.
stuffing those envelopes. And today, Newport-Mesa, thank you very much, gave us the approval. We'll be dropping them off at the district offices, and out they go.
Great.
Yeah, thank you. It's on your calendar, good.
Thank you for
This year, on the main stage, just briefly, our celebrity panel is the comedian Sean Wayans, and he's wonderful. And the other is a beautiful actress that does films from India, and she's been in 18 films and Blue Bloods and NCIS and a lot of just wonderful programs. And our guest celebrity is Nicole Stott, who lived 90 days on the International Space Station. Ooh, and she's an artist. The OCC which has built the brand-new, state-of-the-art planetarium. Before the grand opening, before the VIPs see it, it's opening for a sneak preview for everybody that's coming to the book festival. We have over 50 Star Wars characters coming. Did I say we're an all-volunteer organization? This is a happy event where kids walk away saying, this was more fun than Not Scary Farm. And they walk away with books autographed by over 100 authors, famous illustrators teaching them to draw, people talking about how they came up with character ideas and panels and topics and food and fun. And I look forward to you walking up to me and saying, this was more fun than a board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Not a problem.
Yay!
All right. Woo!
And I want to thank you for sitting through normally we don't take this long. Poor thing, she's been sitting there and pacing. It was hard.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
The sad part is, I remember when we used to have our own book festival that Pat brought to us, so.
Yeah, okay, so that was the last card. We're going on to the.
Can we go on a break for 5 minutes?
Should we get through the consent calendar?
It's the superintendent's, if he has any comments, superintendent comments?
And then
Oh, I'm sorry. Just one more comment, and that is, I have, just to remind you that we are going to visit those schools, and I wanted to provide you each with a schedule of the day so that you can have that. Sherry prepared that for us. And
Schedule of the day.
yes, and so we'll be at, hopefully we'll all be at the luncheon tomorrow, and about 12:45, we've got to head back here, catch a bus over here at the bus yard, and then we'll get to visit all the schools and see the great work that unsung group of heroes did for you this summer.
Yes, and we
Yes, back
certainly
to school.
appreciate the updates with pictures over the summer.
Yeah,
That was
those were
really
great.
nice. Okay, so before we go to the consent calendar, did I hear we want a 5-minute break?
Were we at consent calendar? I thought
We just got there.
You can do whatever you want.
We just got there. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you
Yes.
need a break?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
just
do.
need to go to the
Okay,
restroom.
okay, I'm sorry. That was kind of rude, wasn't it? Who needs to go?
No,
Okay.
we can sit here for 5-6 hours. at a
Okay,
time.
let's take
Only
a
Mrs. Yelsey can.
Just give us a-
10-minute break.
Just go till 3:30. 8:30.
Sorry.
You want me to ask the question?
Okay, so we're going back into session at 8:32. And the first thing is the consent calendar. Mrs. Yelsey.
Pardon?
Consent calendar. We're on
Was
the
it a-
consent calendar finally.
Okay.
And you said you had something to say.
About the
Oh,
consent.
yeah, before we approve it, I just wanted to,
Okay.
I wanted to not discuss. I just wanted to make a comment about a couple of items, not to
Okay.
pull them.
Okay?
we did.
You want me?
Yeah.
We did.
After. I've already pulled it. I pulled it during the
Approval agenda.
approval of agenda. If you want to move, and second, then we'll go ahead and.
That's what I was waiting for.
Move to approve the consent calendar. Second, so we can discuss.
And then we'll just discuss it.
As amended.
We haven't pulled yet.
She did pull.
I
it.
already
She
pulled.
pulled.
So it's as amended.
I'm not
Okay.
able to-
Move to approve the consent calendar as amended.
Okay, second. Somebody want to second it?
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Yelsey.
Okay, I just wanted to make a comment about 15A4 and 15A5, which is to approve agreements with the City of Costa Mesa and Newport Beach for School Resource Officer Program for this coming year. And I just want to thank, I mean, we already know this, but I just want to thank them again for their partnership and the fact that Newport Beach is giving us one more school resource officer. And I know that we're working on Costa Mesa, and hopefully at some point when they are staffed up, that they will be able to do it. But I think it will relieve the anxiety with a lot of parents who would like our high schools to be covered 5 days a week. So I think that's terrific. So I just wanted to thank them for that. And then just two other ones, 15B11 and 15B12, which are memorandums of understanding with Turning Point for Corona Del Mar High School and Early College High School. And just to point out that these programs are for students and parents that look into prevention, intervention, and therapeutic counseling services for parents and students. And so that's just, we're talking about all this wellness thing, but it's just another thing that's not specifically on that list, but it's the type of thing we're doing. So I just wanted to mention that.
Good, thank you. Good. Mrs. Fleur.
Yes, I would like just to comment on item 15B18, which is about the Williams legislation fourth quarter report for schools. We've had a lot of people come up and claim that they have made complaints, et cetera, so I just want to read from this. This is dated July 27th, 2018. To Dr. Navarro from Nicole Sabia Newfield, Administrator, Community and Support Services. I am pleased to provide the fourth quarter Williams Settlement Legislation Report for 2017-18 fiscal year. This report represents activity conducted by the Orange County Department of Education during April, May, and June of 2018. California Education Code section requires that this report be provided to your board as a regularly scheduled meeting held in accordance with public notification requirements. I want to read the final one. It says that no complaints were filed in your district during the period of January through March 18th of 2018.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the consent calendar as amended was moved by Ms. Metoyer, seconded by Ms. Fleur. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, on to 16, the resolution consent calendar. It says that one roll call vote for all resolutions, but we want explanations on some of these. So, I don't know. I think we should do them. Do we have to do them that way?
You can do them individually.
I'd like to do them individually.
Okay, so
Okay, here she goes.
I'll start, but I have to read this first. As with the consent calendar, all items listed under the resolution consent calendar are considered by the board to be routine and will be enacted by the board in one motion. This includes the consent calendar for business, education services, human resources, student services, and student support services, and superintendent. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the board time votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or the public request specific resolutions to be discussed and or removed from the resolution consent calendar. Public requests to be items to be discussed and or removed should be submitted in writing prior to the board's consideration of the resolution consent calendar.
Okay. So I'd like to go one by one.
Sure.
That's okay. So we'll start with 16A, and that would be Dr. Navarro.
Yes, this is an annual requirement, and basically what you're doing with this resolution is to state that certain people that you've hired must fill out a conflict of interest form. Okay, and so while not all your directors are on that list, some directors might be on that list based on their position. And so you'd want to make sure. I think Mr. Trader's always been on that list because he manages all your finances, and he needs to make sure that he's not making decisions that would conflict or get him any personal gain. So that's an example of an executive director who must be on there. All of your assistant soups are on there, and again, some of your other directors, as well as all board members. So this is for you. This is you approving that this is the list of people that must fill out the Form 700.
Okay, so I need a motion.
Move adoption for resolution number 020818, Conflict of Interest Code 2018 Biennial Review.
Second.
Second. Okay, so it's moved by Ms. Metoyer, seconded by Mrs. Black.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Ms. Snell?
Yes.
Ms. Metoyer?
Yes.
Ms. Fleur?
Yes.
Mr. Davenport?
Yes.
Ms. Franco?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Yelsey?
Yes.
Okay, 16B.
Okay, move adoption of Resolution 0818, authorization to apply for California Energy Commission's GFO 17-607 grant to replace old school buses.
I want to discuss this too.
Well, I'll go to.
Okay, second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Holcomb.
Good evening. So with this grant, it's a little bit different than what we've had in the past. This is actually a state grant. Most of our past grants have been the local air quality control board with the CNG natural gas grants that we have participated in the past. The state is moving to push for even cleaner fuel sources for vehicles, and in this, this is the first of this program to start to push for electric school buses. And we believe that our team was Johnny on the spot ready for this. It just came out earlier this summer, and a very quick turnaround, and so we think we have a good chance by being ready to participate quickly with it. Since it is completely new, we're not entirely sure how things will go, but we're excited about the opportunity, and it would be great for us to be successful in this program.
Okay.
Could you also, I didn't pull 15B1, would you also talk about the buses that we did get this summer? How wonderful it,
1 point.
It's 15.A.1, correct?
But it's, but 1 point something million
But anyway,
dollars.
yes.
Yes.
Big
So,
chunk of change.
we were actually pleased and a little bit surprised because we have been very successful in replacing our former fleet of diesel vehicles with compressed natural gas vehicles over the years. And so as we applied for 6 new CNG buses under the current grant scheme, we were hoping, of course, but we expected that there were probably other folks who would be more needy who would snap up those buses. But thankfully, we were awarded all 6 of the buses that we requested, which will allow us to continue to replace our aging fleet. And what's great is this district has committed to new fuel technologies over the years in a fantastic way. And we've committed, though, now for so long that this new electric bus opportunity actually is coming at a very opportune time because we've had CNG buses now as long as the useful life of the tanks in some of those CNG buses. So we're ready for the next stage in energy conservation here at Newport-Mesa.
What do we do with our old buses?
Well, actually, in the case of these buses, it's a requirement that they must be crushed, so that they can't become somebody's partridge family vehicle in the future. And still
You're showing your age.
You are really showing your age. I now have songs going through my head. Thank you for that. Come on, get happy. Sorry.
Okay, so we have 16B moved by Ms. Fleur and seconded by Ms. Metoyer. Roll call.
I had a follow-up question, but I'll do it after the vote.
Okay.
It's fine. Just an
Ms.
information.
Snell?
Yes.
Ms. Metoyer?
Yes.
Ms. Franco? I'm sorry, Ms. Fleur?
Yes.
Mr. Davenport?
Yes.
Ms. Franco?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Yelsey?
Yes.
Okay.
So my question was, Tim, these were 1994 buses, so what's now the average age of our, with these, that's pretty, those are old, but not as old as some of the other ones that we were getting rid of before. So what's the average age of our fleet now?
Honestly, Mrs. Fleur, I don't know. I'd have to do some research for you on that. But we have, as I'm recalling, about 75 total vehicles, and our total number of diesel vehicles, I think, is 12 right now. So that's pretty amazing for the district.
Fabulous.
Okay, the next two, we could probably do together because they're both,
Do let me correct that, is 18 will be a dozen after we get these 6.
No,
After you
there
get these
go.
6.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll move adoption of Resolution 040818, establishment and maintenance of district site revolving cash funds, and 050818, Newport-Mesa School District authorized signatories for the Orange County Department of Education.
Second. Okay. Wow, we got second down there. Okay.
The strange voices.
Okay, so Jeff Trader, if you would like to explain those two, that would be great.
The first item is signatories. The sites have revolving cash at their sites, and otherwise known as petty cash. And so as we have changes in personnel, we need to update that because we actually name a custodian of those funds at each of those sites. And then the second one is just signatories with the Department of Ed, for example, picking up checks, that kind of thing, to make sure a member of the Partridge family doesn't pick it up and not OCD, or, an authorized person to do that.
Okay, wonderful. Roll call.
Ms. Snell?
Yes.
Ms. Metoyer?
Yes.
Ms. Fleur?
Yes.
Mr. Davenport?
Yes.
Ms. Franco?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Yelsey?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to 17, discussion action calendar. Mr. Lee Sun? Yeah? No? Approve agreement with Regents of University of California, behalf of the University of California. That one.
Right.
Okay.
That must be
Yes,
Mr.
that-
Drake.
Mr. Drake,
See,
sorry.
hold the microphone over.
Yeah, this is another great partnership that we're entering into for early college high school. The UCI program focuses on providing opportunities for students in the areas of math, engineering, and sciences. The program will involve training for teachers from UCI folk, as well as opportunities for kids to experience these different content areas in enriching ways. It also includes providing them opportunities to get out to see how, the connections that they're making at this level of their education can connect to universities with trips and opportunities at universities, UCI, UCLA, and places so forth. It's a great opportunity, really, to hit kids with opportunity to recognize that they can actually do something in these fields. With the end game being that they're graduating from a university with a degree in these fields and entering the workforce in these fields.
Okay. Do I have a motion or any questions?
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Ms. Black and seconded by Ms. Metoyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 17B, which is, has to do the memorandum of understanding with Boys and Girls Club, which we had a presentation earlier on that.
I will move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Moved by Mrs. Black, seconded by Ms. Metoyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Ms. Yelsey
This is the
seconded.
second time you've done this, but I don't care.
Make it Mrs. Yelsey.
She may be the one
I'm just
who-
closer and louder.
So I'm confusing the translator. She's like, now, who is Ms. Metoyer? Okay, correction, translator. It was seconded by Mrs. Yelsey. Okay, 17C, which is,
Move approval of the
Okay.
memorandum of understanding between the Boys and Girls Club, Central Orange Coast, and Newport-Mesa Unified School District to provide the college-bound program at Costa Mesa and Estancia High School for 2018-19 school year.
Second.
I told her, you have to yell. I'm not gonna hear you. It was me, us down here. No.
I know, really. Moved by, maybe you should say your name when you say second.
Okay, we'll do that. We can do that.
Moved by Mrs. Fleur and seconded by Ms. Franco. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. 17D, master independent contractor agreement between the Newport Mesa and Transforming Life Center, which, and for threat assessment training.
Move approval.
do you want to speak to
Dana?
that?
Move approval?
Yeah, we're going to let him say a few words.
Sure, members of the board, just happy to give you a brief explanation of this particular topic, this item that you're approving. The Transforming Life Center is run by Dr. Navarro, Dr. Jose Navarro, and he's
No relation?
no relation as
Thank
far
you.
as I know. We didn't
No conflict?
check
haven't-
that. As far as
You haven't gone to Ancestry.com.
okay, you
but
need to
other
pull
than
it.
that-
Sorry, no, I'm just,
I'm sorry.
actually, Dr. Navarro is the president of the Transforming Life Center. He is a certified threat manager. He's one of 3 people that will be training our 32 principals on September 14th. Agent Jeff Cugno from the FBI and Heidi Cisneros, the executive director of the Santa Ana Unified School District, are going to be working with Angela Castellanos and myself to do that training. He's conducted assessments for the K through 12 age group, consulted with 83 different school districts. He's also done threat assessment protocols for community colleges. So, we want to partner with experts in these kinds of areas, and we believe Dr. Navarro has a wealth of resources for our principals. So,
And no relation to me.
no relation as far as we know.
I haven't even met him.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
A question from Mrs. Fleur?
I know. I think this is great. Can board members attend the training? And if not, can you make available the presentation, the slideshow or whatever, the PowerPoint, so that we are aware of what's going out to our
You're certainly welcome
school
to attend the training. So we've asked each of the principals at our 32 schools to put together a team of people that will be on the threat assessment, on their threat assessment teams at each of the school sites. So certainly if you'd like to be there as an observer, you're more than welcome to do that.
September 14th.
But we can also, if for those of you that can't make it, we're happy to get you the materials as well.
Just, maybe if we can,
Would you send
for a
out
couple, just, I would just like to see what what's being presented.
Right, and just as you well know, that would be information that would stay internal. We don't discuss operations and procedures with, but you know that, so.
Yes.
We understand.
Thank you.
Okay, so does somebody want to move?
Move approval of the master and.
3 people move.
Oh, sorry.
Mrs. Black moved.
Karen moved, Martha moved.
I'm not moving.
Pick one. Who wants, okay.
No, we don't care. We don't.
Okay, so
Mrs.
moved
Fleur
by Mrs.
seconded.
Black and seconded by Mrs. Yelsey. All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Still didn't get there.
Okay, so we are going to go, now is the first reading and modifications to board policies. And I guess we'll go.
Say aye.
Did we say
Oh,
aye?
we did? Okay.
I think, yeah, we
All
did.
in favor?
We did.
Okay, just, oh,
Do
go
you
ahead.
want us to put this on the agenda, on the table so that we can talk about them?
Yes.
Okay, so. Whoa, I love that.
Little technical difficulty? I blame this on Mr. Holcomb. He started this with the whole Partridge Family
Oh,
thing.
yes, we are. Because they're all on the same one. So I'm going to move
What are you moving?
Thank you.
first reading and adoption of modifications to board policy, and there are a number of them. And depending on the nature afterwards, I may, and I don't know the processes of adopting these in one
Why can't we
motion.
just vote on each one?
Weren't we?
Because they're all listed under the same one.
Well,
So last time we did talk about all of them.
Right.
And then you voted at the end.
For all of them.
Yes, and if there was a question in between, we pulled it.
Okay, yeah, because
Okay.
that's what I wanted to make sure that, but again, it said, the reading says first reading. And in many cases, we waive the second reading and adopt fully on first reading. So I'm
So
going to
we have an adoption in the,
So I'm going to, but it says first reading. So I want to make sure that we have the ability so,
Well, why don't we wait till the end? and
you can,
make our
you can
motion?
waive first
Okay,
reading, go
perfect,
straight to adoption.
Perfect, good, all right, they're on. Okay. Just going to talk about each one of them.
Members of the board, Dr. Navarro, Cabinet, and guests. I have 3 board policies to bring forward to you tonight. The first one would be BP 1312.3. This is the Uniform Complaint Procedures. These are updates to this board policy, which needs to be revised every now and then because of various programs that come into play that fall under the UCP complaint process. So in the first paragraph, there is just simply some revisions on the verbiage to reflect the CSBA. That way, as they come up with new changes, it's much easier for us to follow along with that. We've added a title in to the types of complaints there, complaints subject to uniform complaint procedures. The first, number 1, applies to complaints regarding violations to state and federal law or regulations. And so there is a list there, and we have added some that inadvertently have been left off that someone could apply the UCP complaint procedure for. Then on the second component there of the protected classes with unlawful discrimination, again, making sure that we've included all areas that fall under this. That we realized that this was not accurate when we were going through to put immigration status in, as we did with our other non-discrimination policies. So that's why you see updates that look familiar but new in this one. I will bring your attention to number 3 under that area where regarding noncompliance of accommodations for a lactating student on a school campus. Again, that's inadvertently been left off. It's been around for some time now. The number 6 is on behalf of our foster youth and our obligations to provide them with their program. Number 7 is homeless students under that definition, as well as a child of a military family. So that may be a new component for you. Number 8 is in reference to class assignment. So this, you might recall, we addressed, I think it was a couple years ago, it might have been 1 year ago, where we have students, if they're in a course without educational content for more than a week in any semester, there needs to be steps that we take with that. So we used to have teachers' assistants or teacher aides, and this addresses that component. So if there are complaints regarding that, then a person would file through the UCP process. Number 9 is noncompliance with physical education instructional minutes for students in the elementary level. That's 200 minutes with every 10 days. And that is fairly recent, coming into the UCP after multiple, after a significant lawsuit from Cal 200. My name's added in that component. Yay. And
On the
think
child abuse prevention and reporting, it's crossed out. So is it in a different?
it's in a different,
section?
it's in a different, on a different page. So
okay.
if, I'm currently on, just because I kind of flew through there, if you look at page D,
And it's on the number 2 in between?
you will see under number 1, and that's where it falls. That's where the reference falls. It was just
But
in
it
the wrong
doesn't-
place.
It doesn't change our responsibilities. for
Not at all.
reporting and- okay.
Not at
I-
all. Just
I
how to
didn't read it.
report if somebody is not in compliance. Yes. And then moving down, we get into other ways that, so for example, if alleging employment discrimination, that falls under a different procedure other than UCP. So that would be the changes.
Just add your phone
The
number,
references.
personnel.
We're doing them all at the end.
Yeah, yes. Any questions on this one?
Nope.
Okay.
That was my wait time.
Okay, then we'll go next to the next one.
So the next one, Board
simple,
Policy
yeah.
4030, non-discrimination. The only change, and actually it was
Your phone
inadvertently-
number.
Phone number.
There's a phone number that actually was the right phone number, but now we're bringing it back because we knew you wanted that. No, I'm just kidding. That's the only change on this from when you adopted it before. It's not even a change.
Okay,
So then that takes us to
you want to look at this one?
a board policy that is going to be
I love it when we have board policies that are like several different numbers.
So one refers to certificated, one refers to classified, and the 4300 series refers to management.
So it's-
And so when you go on our website and look at them, they're actually in 3 different places, but it's the same policy that is applicable. So professional standards, so again, this board policy is applicable to certificated, classified, and management. And really, while we had the board policy, it wasn't very descriptive. And so this brings it to the forefront and truly articulates what we are looking for in terms of our ethical standards and our professionalism and exercising good judgment. So the first portion is what I'd point out is that second paragraph, and I think that's a significant change of moving from each employee should to each employee is expected. We added, you will see in blue when we went through the review, great suggestion in the fact that we added the segment and make efforts to protect their professional reputation. We have just in addition to that, to let you know that our administrators, we went through an in-service, we have a document that we have, which is protecting your professional reputation, that we are utilizing with our staffs, as well as with our orientations, including that of substitute teachers. And so it will be referenced in an exhibit, just as we have Code of Ethics as an exhibit for this particular board policy.
Mrs., did you catch it? Okay, good, because I was gonna say, it didn't, it didn't transfer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, as long as you got,
Hers is accurate.
good.
Okay.
So make sure that we do it as amended. When we approve
Well,
them, it'll be
it's
as
there.
amended.
It is on there.
It is on
It's
there.
there, it's
Right.
not on the piece of paper.
But this is on the agenda, correct?
Well,
I
let's
thought
go
this
look.
was on the, this
Let me
isn't
go
on the
look.
agenda?
It's on here that she's presenting.
But if the public got one that doesn't have it on there, then we need to amend it.
Correct.
So let me just look. at
Sherry's saying that this is what's attached to the agenda.
that one.
That's
Perfect.
what she just said.
Okay, then I believe.
Sherry's checking right now, just
Okay,
double
good.
checking,
She's
okay?
double checking. Oh, okay.
Okay, okay.
No pressure, Sherry, no pressure.
It is.
Not
It
everybody
is.
looking at
I
it.
have it. It is on here. It is on the exhibit.
Okay.
Dr. Navarro, I have a question. So if let's say that, we're using student records, employee records, do we monitor when people leave our district, or how do we ensure that that doesn't leave or is not transported to a private computer, as it's happened in the past?
Okay, so,
Well, I was reading,
Certain
looking
memos?
for something like that.
Yes.
Because we know it did in fact happen. So I want to know, do we have anything? I kind of looked through our old policies and it really doesn't address that.
right,
Is
right.
that something we could do, or should we ask legal about that?
Well, we have talked about that, and so student records have to be requested by another school district or a private school. We don't release that to anybody unless we get an official request for their records, and then we release them once we receive the request. Employee records, what we have moved away from is we don't allow remote devices to be connected to our computers to download documents. So if it's on a document like on your laptop, that's okay, if it's a district-issued laptop, but you can't have a terabyte side hard drive to download onto it that's going to leave the district office in any way. So the rule of thumb is HR records do not leave the HR office.
Even on
Okay?
a zip drive.
That's the rule.
You can't put it on, we don't allow those we don't allow those to be connected anymore.
I'd really be curious to see what legal has to say, that we could, I don't know if we could ever insure it, because if somebody wants to commit, because that is a criminal theft. And because they are our documents, and we do know that they have left our districts, our personnel files. So I just think we need to address it. So maybe not in this particular, although this is the one I think
It makes sense to put it.
would make sense to put it in, but, to where, so that we bring it up to a higher level, in our district for,
So what we'll do is that we'll ask Ms. Olson to research this with council.
in your spare time.
And this is an HR issue.
It is.
So,
It is. I'm
so,
not saying it isn't, but I do
Yeah.
believe that we need some, language.
yeah. So we'll ask her to research this and then come back with a recommendation as to which board policy it should go in. It may be a standalone under electronic devices.
Where does it fall?
Yeah. It
Because
could
I've
be,
talked to other board members, and asked if they have mechanisms, and none of them, everybody said, I never thought of that, but, how easy would it be for somebody to take
A whole bunch of stuff.
everybody's personal data?
well, and again, the rule is,
Forward it to their-
the rule is none of those records are to leave the HR office. That is a
Then
hard
prove
rule.
it after it happens. That's the thing that I'm.
Yeah, so I think what we'll do is we'll have
I'll
Ms.
research
Olson
that and
research it and come back to you with where we should put it.
Maybe ask Awesome to the department and see if there's. a-
Awesome plays an important role in this.
Does HR personnel have the ability to access the district off-site?
Remote?
Remotely?
There's certain things I couldn't.
There are certain people who have gained authorization to remotely go into their hard drive from another district laptop.
Okay.
So that they can
So
work
they,
from home.
so they could work at home.
Yeah, on the weekend or whatever, or if they're at a conference.
I think that's where a lot of stuff occurred.
Okay.
So I will
So-
research that.
Are we?
So inappropriate conduct,
We're going to move it, but.
and
okay, they're gonna
so
look.
there is a list here of inappropriate conduct by an employee, and it includes, but please notice, it also says not limited to. So if there was something we were to find that was inappropriate, because it's not listed, does not mean we cannot act on it. The first one, engaging in conduct endangering student, staff, and you will see student, staff, and others often in many of these. And so the first one is regarding violence and weapons. The second being harassing or discriminatory behavior. I think what's important to note in number 2 is the fact that we are also expected, or it's inappropriate if we fail or refuse to intervene when there's an act of discrimination, harassment, intimidation, or bullying against a student. Number 3, physical or sexual abuse, neglect. 4, inappropriate solicitation or fraternization with a student, or soliciting or encouraging an inappropriate relationship. 5, possessing or viewing pornography on school grounds, or possessing or viewing children pornography. The use of profane or obscene language or abusive language. And again, you see the list of that this is all inclusive. Number 7, of willful disruptive of district or school operations. I would request and ask that we could change one of the references there. That's just a small typo. Is that the CF 2515.2 disruptions is actually 3515.2.
3.5, right here,
So
right here,
right
3.515.2.
Which is
So
actually coming forward after me.
We want to amend this.
Okay, so now we're amending.
Instead of the 2?
Instead of a 2.
Sherry's got it, as amended, yeah.
Right here, 351.
Number 8, we're all very familiar with the use of tobacco, alcohol, legal or
just
unauthorized
3.
substance. Number 9 is dishonesty or falsifying information.
Number 10 may relate to the issue that was just raised by Mrs. Fleur.
Correct.
And you
And
can
the-
see the codes directly talk about district records, privileged information, student records, and so on.
Yeah, that does.
good, right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 11 is an important one as well. This is the use of district equipment or resources for someone's own personal or commercial use or political activities. Number 12, it's regarding using our devices for personal use while on duty, except in an emergency or during a break or a personal necessity. There is the reference there to the employee use of technology.
Yeah, but it's just the emailing.
Causing damage or engaging in theft. Wearing inappropriate attire, and there is a reference to a board policy regarding dress and grooming. Then the policy falls into the report of misconduct, and that it is expected that if someone is to observe inappropriate conduct, that they report it immediately. A reference to the child abuse. The next component is that we have an obligation as a district to investigate promptly.
Can I interrupt for a minute? And
Certainly.
Go back to 12, the second paragraph.
Yep.
Because it's occurred, it says email and voicemail, but I think it's important to note that text messages are.
Oh, that's right.
And I would add text messages. And then the second one is that they are not public, and we should also notify them that they may be subject to a public information request. That's just because we are notified, we've been notified that they are not, and they can be, and
In
they
other
could.
words, language like, not limited to email, comma, text messages, comma, and voicemail are not private and may be subject to a public records request.
Okay, Sherry's got that.
Well, yes, and the reason I'm asking is because it's also
Yes.
at the attention that they need to be noticed that if they're using, just like we are, our personal, it's also personal emails
Right.
and text messages, et cetera, are
During
also, during school, could also
I don't think
be
it's limited
subject
just
to
during school.
public.
Not just, it could be their personal.
Yeah, so I just think that we should,
We'll also have to cite the court case that's referring to, Leona.
Yeah, so I will investigate where that would fall. This number 12 refers to use of district equipment or communication devices.
but that is also subject to public information requests.
Yes, as are personal text.
So you might have to have a
it might have to be a separate number.
Just want to,
District equipment.
yeah, I just want to make sure that, because it's talking about we're notifying the public, we're notifying the employees, and I just want to make sure that they're notified of all of the current language that's kind of scary.
Yes.
Things
Come
are
and
no
work with us.
longer,
It's fun. Your whole life will be an open book.
yeah.
So leaving, where I left off was regarding the investigation. And that does include that if there is disciplinary action, a person may be subject to a report with the Commission on Teaching Credentialing if there is misconduct. And then I think the very important thing is that people recognize that the district does prohibit the retaliation against anyone who files a complaint against an employee. And lastly, the notifications, and this is new, is that the section that refers to the inappropriate conduct must be shared and provided to our parents at the beginning of the school year. So we have provided the board policy as it was, and then we will have to update. I'm working with Vanessa on those notifications, that once this is approved, number 1 through 14 would need to be added, would need to be provided in our parent notifications.
Oh, boy,
And then
more
they
to
have-
read.
So they have to sign off then?
No, it's just part of their notifications that they have it. It goes with the rest.
It goes with their handbook, student handbook, or their student enrollment information.
Well, the student enrollment, there's a checkoff list that you initial,
That you've read each one.
that you've read each. Oh, okay.
So, since we have to amend that perhaps, should we pull this one?
Yes,
I would-
Leona's
yes.
requesting
I would
that you
agree
do
so.
We
pull
could
it.
pull it.
So we'll pull 419.21? Okay. 4119.21, we'll pull that one.
There's more.
Bring it back later,
Because it doesn't.
Yeah.
okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So do you want to go ahead and do the HR ones right now and approve those
Oh, that's a great
with
idea.
amendment?
Sure.
that way?
3.
I move
Except
that
for
we
one poll.
approve Board Policy 1312.3 and Board Policy 4030 as,
Amended.
I don't know if we amended those first two.
But you should just do it just,
Sure, as amended.
yeah, as amended. Okay?
Second.
Okay.
Who was the
That
second?
was Yelsey.
Yelsey.
Second.
Thank you.
I got it to you.
Who moved it? I didn't even,
I did.
Sure.
oh, sure.
These are really dry things, so if anybody in the audience needs water, I actually have extra water. And I'm happy to share if you want water.
I think we need to take a vote. So it was
Yes.
moved by Ms. Metoyer, seconded by Ms. Yelsey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
So
Those are great.
First two are going.
So Dr. Jocham is not here. She's actually delivering her eldest son to college.
I know, she's
in Michigan. So we have the pleasure of Dr. DiAgostino.
Again.
Such as it is. Good evening, President Snell and Vice President Metoyer, members of the board. So yeah, there are, I think, 5 policies that I'm going to just briefly go over, starting with 3515.2, which is disruptions. And so this is fairly straightforward. We rephrased a couple of paragraphs here to be consistent with the CSBA language in paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. You can see that in paragraph 3, it's a lot more specific to the kinds of things that we are doing as a district in the area of safety of schools, students, and staff. So, and then we added some Ed Code 3515.7 and Penal Code 30310 as additional CSBA recommended language on that particular policy.
I don't remember this one. That's okay.
Okay. No changes.
So the next, with your permission, the next one I want to move on to is campus safety facilitators. We cleaned up some language at the top of the document with the Board of Education. We refer to our individuals who support our school resource officers and work with students in a supervision and safety role as campus safety facilitators. So that is the title we've used in the board policy. We also clarified some language on the use of private security agencies. We do, for the past few years, we have had a procedure where we offer work that is beyond the typical scope of the campus safety facilitators. If it's available to them, for example, the overnight security that we do at our high schools at the end of the year, as well as maybe some supervision at the Welcome Center, things of that nature if it's needed. We offer that work to our campus safety facilitators. So only in rare circumstances do we license with private licensed security agencies, and that language is there to kind of clear that up as well. And we do not have our campus safety facilitators carrying firearms. That is something we feel strongly about, is the role of the school resource
But our
officers.
SROs do.
Yes, they do.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
But they're, so it's not SROs included.
No.
That was,
No,
that
no.
was not it.
No.
I would,
I have a, go ahead.
No, she was.
I have a I just think that you should spell out SROs.
at least the first time.
In the fourth paragraph?
Yeah, it's not really mentioned anywhere, and it could be confusing to some, so I think you should regularly communicate with school resource officers.
Sure.
And I also have a
Well, the other one
suggestion.
showed firearms, so.
And then I have a suggestion. At the first paragraph, the first paragraph says, "To help ensure shall maintain a district security personnel," but actually that's not the case. We maintain a district safety because it's all called safety. So I would suggest,
Right at the
very
very
first
top.
paragraph, it says, "To help ensure the safety of district and staff, the security of school property, the Board of Education shall maintain district safety personnel." Because that's what we're talking about. 'cause
You're talking about safety facilitators.
we're talking about community safety facilitators, so we should call it that it's a safety personnel.
Well, he's saying
Could-
facilitators.
Could we safety/security? If
Yeah,
I
I
was
like
read-
security
If
in
I
there,
was
yeah.
reading it as a parent, I'd want to see the word security there somewhere, and if
Yeah.
we do it security/safety, at least
Well,
it's,
it's talking about security.
it doesn't say that anymore, it'll just say Campty Safety, so
It really is supervision is what they do.
So safety probably is better than security.
Yes.
I don't know, okay.
Well, because safety infers
I don't know, I picture the
lot of
kid with the little
things.
banner and.
I know, but that's what
Dr.
we're
D,
calling
what is
these.
your?
I understand.
What is
Well,
your?
I think the safety of students and staff is one of the primary roles of our campus safety personnel.
Okay.
So I
there we
think
go.
that's
To
something.
maintain
There may
camp
also be, I
district
don't want to
safety
put
personnel.
Ms.
Okay.
Olson there may be some HR implications in terms of job descriptions too. I know that we've gone to the term campus safety facilitator to accurately describe what they do. So I think,
Okay.
my humble opinion is safety is the word we want to
Okay.
stick with.
So I would,
I'll defer to that.
so that's an amendment. Okay.
Okay, so we'll change that to safety, and then we'll spell out SROs on that.
Yep.
The next one is 3515.5, and that would be the sex offender notification. There was no substantive changes to this particular board policy, just some grammar and additional legal references, 2 additional legal references. So nothing significant in this, in terms of changes, just grammatical. And then 5113.1, which is the chronic absence and truancy board
This is what
policy.
we really went to town.
So at the top, we wrestled with some language there to frame the complex issues that are the result of chronic truancy and absences, talking about dysfunctional behaviors brought on by social and emotional issues. Then,
There's an
hold on.
extra sentence in there. No, stay there.
where do I, right
After emotional issues, the board believes these issues may, that
And it-
should be taken out.
Yes.
The board believes these issues may. Because it's
Because that's all
addressed
it is.
above, I believe. Right?
there? Okay, that is,
It doesn't go
Well,
anywhere.
Yeah. I
It
think-
doesn't go anywhere.
Well, I think what's happened is, we wanted to get rid of the words dropping out of school. And we wanted to put it that may put, these issues may put students at risk, period.
okay, so
Yeah.
this is not the, I apologize, but this is not the PDF that I have in my hand right now.
Oh,
The PDF that I have in my hand right now is
different.
is a little bit different and includes updated language.
Let's go on.
Phil, so what we have here, Sherry, is that what's on the website? If that's what's on the website, we'll have to pull this back and bring it back to you,
I would recommend that, yeah.
okay? He's
I have a
looking at
printed version in my hand that includes updated language. Before Dr. Jocham left, she tasked me with the first paragraph, and that is not the paragraph that I have in my hands, so.
So what do you have?
What do you
Okay,
have?
so, you know what, we're just going to pull this one right now.
Okay.
And bring it back, yes, okay?
Okay.
Okay, what number is this again?
This is 5131, 131, what is it, Phil?
5113.1.
Yeah. So we're going to pull that one, since it's obviously, we didn't get the updated copy entered in there.
And then the final one that I'm sharing with you is 5131.4, and that would be student disturbances. Again, no substantive changes other than some grammatical corrections, talking about site
was
safety plans, and again, referring to the Board of Education, as well as established guidelines for law enforcement. Those were just some grammatical issues.
So move to approve 5131.
And all the other ones that are in Sarah's section?
So it would be 3515.2, 3515.3, 3515.5, and 5131.4.
As
So
amended.
move.
As amended.
As amended.
And
Is
we
that
pulled,
right? Is that
Yes.
right, Sherry? Okay.
As amended.
and we have pulled back 5113.1. We'll bring that to you in 2 weeks.
Okay, so who's
Well, we'll see
moved?
that in.
I moved, Mrs. Franco seconded.
Okay, so.
Karen
Mrs.
tried, but
Ms. Black moved, Ms. Franco seconded on approving the three,
Four. Oh, I thought it was only three. There were
policies
five.
as amended.
four policies
As amended.
as amended.
I thought we were pulling one.
Did you say all in favor?
No, not yet. I'm just deciding whether I need to list those again, but
No.
I think they've been listed. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Okay, Kirk is next. He's got a whole one policy.
Whole one.
Yes, President Snell, members of the board, don't blink or you'll miss this one.
Good one.
It is 614211, so we're changing Board of Education to be consistent, taking out adult education because we don't have it anymore. Going down to number 3, career technical education classes offered in high school, we are adding and community college with whom the district has a dual credit agreement because we have an MOU in works right now, so that we'll need. And then number 4, changing by to through, and that is it for this one.
Okay, wait a minute. Can you go back to 4?
Number 4?
Okay, so we capitalized regional occupation centers.
Yes.
And so we probably should have done that EXE thing that you do when you know, because unless it was in my copy, it was just regular and we capitalized it. So don't you have to like do the little R and do a.
They're in blue, I believe.
But shouldn't all the
ROC are
Rs,
in-
and
are in
Os and
blue.
Cs and I think should have been red? Because it was changed, or blue?
Yeah, that's
They're,
what
they're
I
in
mean.
blue, they're in blue, I
They're in
believe.
blue, but can hardly see them.
They're just hard to see from here.
What's in blue?
It's a bad blue.
Regional Occupational Center, those are actually
Yeah.
capitalized in blue.
Note to self,
Not-
next
pick
time,
a different blue.
highlight it. Make it
Yes,
yellow. So
yes.
I can honestly tell you,
But when
it's a
we did
different
the
color.
L cap, you
guys
had,
ever meet
you
to
made
Yes, we
the
did.
new L.
we can
Right.
hardly
But
see.
Vanessa
Me.
did it.
I think we need to talk one at a time because the person that's translating is probably going crazy. So, when we did local control funding formula, the LCAP, and it wasn't originally capitalized, we had the little letter. It
Oh,
was
gotcha.
crossed through and the capital was put. And I thought that's the way we had to do it, but I don't know.
That is correct. That's the way it was on the LCAP.
Okay,
Don't know what to tell you why this wasn't
okay, that's fine.
Because different groups did different ones.
That's correct.
Okay, no, I
we
mean,
need to
it's
be
fine, I just, we should probably just put that in there that way, so, there you go.
If we approve it, then it'll
Doesn't make
just be
any
written
difference.
right and all.
Correct.
Okay.
And it is written right.
Right.
It's just, there has to be a transition of where the changes were made.
The record.
History.
Anybody that's done PTA bylaws,
Knows this.
It should be consistent throughout all of our.
yeah, you gotta know exactly when it changed and how it changed.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Mrs. Fleur has the light on?
No, I'm sorry.
Then I move that we approve Board Policy 6146.11 as amended.
And let's give this to Mr. Davenport. He hasn't opened his mouth today.
Do you want a second?
You want to second that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so we're approving Board Policy 6146.11, moved by Ms. Matoye, seconded by Mr. Davenport. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, do we have to make some kind of a statement that we pulled the two we pulled or not?
We just didn't approve them. So we've
Okay,
got
so
them.
that's good
Yeah.
enough. Okay.
And we don't have to make any statements about Valerie and Vanessa's.
Oh, but Vanessa's gets.
We should have her come up and say, walk us through which ones you're deleting.
Well, Vanessa is your home run hitter.
That's
Cleanup,
right.
batting cleanup. She's going to knock this one out of the ballpark.
Yeah, mine is very difficult, although you'll do more than blink. You may yawn. Mine are very easy. So there are 3 here. And essentially, there's a federal law called the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, and that was came about in 1964. And there's been different reauthorizations of that law. No Child Left Behind was the 2001 iteration, and the remnants of 2001, No Child Left Behind, are in these 3 board policies. So Title I still exists, but program improvement schools no longer exist. And so this board policy 0520.2, there's no need for it anymore because we don't have program improvement. So that's the first one. It's all completely struck through because it just doesn't exist. Same thing here as well. While there are no longer any program improvement schools, there are also no longer any program improvement districts. So the entire thing is struck through. It no longer exists. And then finally, the Quality Education Investment Act, that was something that those schools were part of that whole package when they were doling out the rest of the funds at the very end of No Child Left Behind, and this is also no longer a thing.
Okay, I will move to delete those policies as referenced.
And I will second that.
Okay.
And my name is Dana.
And Charlene Metoyer.
That really helps.
Thank you very much.
So Mrs. Black has moved that we delete the 3 policies, 0520-2, 0520-3, 0520-4, and it was seconded by Ms.
Metoyer.
Metoyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So
Okay.
going back to the very beginning, I move to adopt the policies already iterated, as amended, move it in one motion to adopt it.
But we've done them
We've done the
separately.
motions.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, yes.
But thank you.
But I'm going to second.
But we did it in second reading, right?
Yes. Yes.
We're waiving, so I'm moving to waive the second reading on all of those
I'll
policies.
second that.
Okay,
That were approved.
that were
Yes.
approved, yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, that's a good point. Thank you.
Okay. And that
Thank you for
was
keeping us
moved
on
by-
task.
By Mrs. Fleur and
Floor.
seconded by
Flower.
Mrs. Metoyer, right? Okay.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, wow. So we're done with that.
Thank
And
you,
now we're
everybody.
moving on to
I
board
still have
member.
water up here if you need it.
Now we're moving on to board member reports, and we're going to start with Mrs. Yelsey.
Cool. Okay, just for fun, I'm going to ask Ryan to cue up this video that was presented yesterday at the CDM Elementary Professional Development.
Oh my
And this is the
gosh.
way they opened it. And it would just be fun for everybody to
Yeah.
see because they did an awesome job. And I've said this before, but it really should be a model of how professional development. This was a fun part, but there were breakout sessions that the teachers and some of our TOSAs did all day long, from Wonders and Bridges and autism and wellness and learning circles, and it was amazing.
It isn't only the CDM zone, because I see Davis.
And Dave, it was CDM plus Davis.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sorry about that.
I would
No, that
really
was
like to have
wonderful.
been
Christy
invited.
Flores. So anyway, if we could run this because.
Boy,
it
they're
was
so
awfully-
cool looking.
They are.
Well, that is a zone
They did it,
characteristic.
their theme was, remember they were superheroes a couple years ago when they did this? This time it was based on the Vogue.
Oh, Vogue.
Okay, Vogue.
There's no
Is there
sound.
sound?
surfing, lights, camera, adventure.
Strike a pose. Look around, everywhere you turn is heartache. It's everywhere that you go. You try everything you can to escape the pain of life that you know. All else fails and you long to be something better than you are today. I know a place where you can get away. It's called a dance floor. Let your body move to the music. Hey, 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 come on, let your body go with the flow. You know it. All you need is your own imagination. So use it, that's what it's for. That's what it's for. Go inside for your finest inspiration. Your brain will open the door. It makes no difference if you're black or white, if you're a boy or a girl. If the music's popping, it will give you new life. You're a superstar. Yes, that's what you are. You know it. Come on, let your body groove to the music. Hey, 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 come on, let your body go with the flow. You know you do it. Beauty's where you find it, not just where you bump and grind it. Soul is in the music. That's why I feel so beautiful, magical. Life's a ball, so get up on the dance floor. Let your body move to the music. Hey, 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 come on. Let your body go with the flow. You know you do it. Beauty's where you find it. Beauty's where you find it. Greta Garbo and Monroe, Dietrich and DiMaggio, Marlon Brando, Jimmy Dean, on the cover of a magazine. Grace Kelly, Harlow Jean, picture of a beauty queen. Jean Kelly, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, dance on air. They had style, they had grace. Rita Hayworth, gave good face. Lauren Kaplan, attitude. Betty Davis, we love them. Ladies with an attitude. Fellas that were in the mood. Don't just stand there, let's get to it. Strike a pose, there's nothing to it.
Oh, that was
That's very cute.
Perfect.
Very good.
Yay, CDM. And Davis.
Very cute. Is that it? Is that your 3 minutes?
There's other stuff, but I'm not doing it. That was
Oh,
my
okay.
time.
Okay.
And I just want to be, just so grateful, but overly grateful, and because we're watching all the transformation with facilities, but parents have called me to tell me what an amazing experience they had in music, and technology, and is every student going to be able to get in next year? And because they're really concerned about that, so news has traveled. But I just, I mean, we were on fire all summer.
Yep.
I mean, it was just, craziness out there, with all the work that's being, accomplished. And so thank you for that. And I am truly, truly grateful for it because we really shine in our community.
And we have waited a long time for it.
That's right. So thanks for that.
And I'm not going to add more.
Okay. Walt?
Walt?
No report.
Well,
Floor.
couple of things. One is thank you for the updates that we're now getting about the elementary school enrollment. It's amazing, the numbers, and class sizes are pretty low across the district. And again, the same thing, it doesn't appear to be that we're going to be having any combinations at all, but yet we're growing. So that's kind of amazing when you talk to other colleagues in other districts that are losing the numbers of students.
Significant.
Also, I want to compliment the entire staff for the wonderful leadership advance. Outstanding speaker. I would really like her to come out and work with our teachers and present to the the principals heard it, but I think it's really important that she come out and have a conversation with the teachers and working with our unions and present that, because it was just, she was absolutely amazing, amazing opportunity. Great venue. We were able to have it, part of it down at the new community center at Marina Park. That was terrific. The other thing that I am just amazed at is all the back-to-school nights have all been scheduled, and it looks like September the 13th is a real popular day.
12th and 13th, we're going to be really busy.
Yeah, real busy. There's like 8 schools on the same day, so that's going to be kind of a nice challenge for all of us to participate in. So looking forward to a really great, fabulous year. Everything is ready. Looks beautiful. Although I can't figure out, maybe you can explain to me, what's on the roof? I thought the air conditioning was going off the roof at Mariners, and there's lots of piping on there.
Yeah, but
Yes, the piping that's on the roof is to take the refrigerant to the center of the classroom where there's an exchange unit that allows for a more even distribution of cool air throughout the classroom versus just putting it on one side of the classroom and pushing it toward the other side.
Okay, so it's
That's the
on, but
reason
it's
it was
just, it's not on
designed for
all
that.
of them, it's just on the office building?
It's just on specific places where
Okay.
that was necessary in order to get the cool air distributed throughout the classroom.
Okay. And then finally, I want to thank the office that's now open is the assessment center and the address verification. The Welcome Center. Primarily for those families that are living currently in Mariners Square. As you know, that is slated, there's 123 apartments there that's owned by the Irvine Company. It's been sold, and they are talking about tearing it down. We have I'm sure over 50 kids that are there, and many are seeking and relocating to other places. And I'm very appreciative that the principals are aware of it in that zone and are continuing to allow the students to remain there or matriculate, because many kids are going from 6th grade to 7th grade, and so they are allowing those students to remain at that school or in that
In the
zone,
zone.
because they are just, it's really hard to find affordable housing. And so thank you for that, to help those parents and those families, because it's very frightening what's happening with them.
And I would, in addition to our Smart Camp and our summer music concert and engineering, I wanted to thank the Lints, who
fabulous.
presented Oklahoma at CDM, 3 performances.
one of my favorite plays.
It was a delightful play, and as usual, to a packed house, and it was a fun summer evening, which brought theater even to further, I'd like to thank all the staff members that pulled us in to talk to us about data and talk to us about editing and talk to us about what was going on. And when I was a teacher, I thought summer vacation was summer vacation. And it's really interesting to know how busy the district is during the summer so that we can have such fabulous things. And just to let some of our teachers be appreciative, I'm part of Pacific Symphony's Class Act, and I go to another school in another district because we ran out of schools in ours. And we were scheduling their classes, and their TK class at this school had 28 students in it. So if you know anything about TK, these are students that aren't yet 5 and have curriculum. So 28 in a TK class, and I just looked at that teacher and said, bravo, I don't know how you do it. So yeah, you've done a stellar job of supporting student learning by keeping the class sizes manageable. Thank you so much.
So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the tour. I'm really happy that we're being kept informed of what's going on. Great job. And all the reports were so good tonight.
were.
And so informative. And so here we go.
Here
That's
we
all I
go.
can say. Here we go.
Exactly.
Happy New Year.
And
Mrs. Snell, do you mind if I
Go ahead.
called our help desk, and Sherry referred me to them to help, with some techno stuff. And they were, the gal that, I won't say her name, but she just was amazing. And I could hear the phones ringing in the background. And I did have to wait for a few minutes, on hold, but, they just very polite and knowledgeable.
rolling out the computers.
And it lasted all of 3 minutes.
wow.
And she just was very helpful. So those are like Dr. Navarro said, the unsung heroes in the back room, but she,
lot of 'em.
I just would love you to share that with them.
And IT had to get ginormo number of rollouts of the Chromebooks to the CDM zone because
Every zone now.
Every zone has them.
No, Mesa hasn't gotten theirs yet. Thank you.
They've had it.
They were the
Well,
first
They
ones.
the elementaries sort of, but they didn't have it. It's
Well, this is
next year's Mesa's official rollout. But that bottom line is that our IT department has to work like crazy people to program all those computers, identify all those computers, install them, and then all the necessary additional stuff that new projectors and new other electronic stuff at the sites. And
We got rid of
A lot.
hundreds of old, obsolete stuff that was on that, on our list. So where does that go?
maybe they get crushed with the buses.
It gets crushed with the buses?
fill-
You
we
put
fill
them
up
in the
a bus,
buses and it gets crushed with the buses?
Old obsolete which?
Everything.
Technology.
On the obsolete, no longer usable, the list that we received, there's
Yes.
there's hundreds and hundreds of laptops, desktops, all of that. It just was amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Those were classroom and lab computers that are now actually old enough that they start to cost more to maintain than they're worth for us. So that was the great things about the Chromebook program is the district was able to afford to provide one-to-one devices to students for basically the same cost as it used to cost us to maintain computer labs where students had to go to the computers, but then to maintain those. I don't have the figures in front of me. I'll try to pull it together for you soon, but it's amazing when you look at how many, I think it's right now, we have 21,000 Chromebooks that we have to maintain across the entire district. It's amazing the number of devices.
Detaching all of that properly, but where do we send it, the old stuff? Do we have a vendor?
Yeah,
that-
there is a
that
vendor
picks it up?
who picks up our
Then
e-waste.
Awesome's team
They're
has to
amazing.
put it all back with the new
Yes,
stuff.
that's right.
And do we have enough staff supporting him, or can we ever get part-time staff during the rush time, or? I didn't see it in our books, but it just doesn't seem realistic that we can do all that in a couple
You know,
months.
it has been amazing over the years as technology has grown, so has the IT department in our district as well as many districts, to the place to where last year we recognized and budgeted for supervisor positions in IT because it previously was one poor manager having to work directly with just about everybody.
Yeah.
And so we have a very sophisticated department who works very hard. And Chris Ednicott is the supervisor who's been working through all of that this year, and having him in that position, Awesome would tell you, has been a godsend to be able to have someone to help to coordinate that, to put all of these rooms back together after the air conditioning projects were completed, much as you're saying. So, yep, it's a more and more complicated operation every day to run a school district,
Well, and
isn't
that's,
it?
and when you're pulling the wires and doing all of, I mean, I was amazed, you know, at how much that had to be switched out and, you know. So.
Okay.
Make sure they've got support from us.
Board of Education Committee reports.
I do. A couple, but I have a question. What's the policy about new students entering our district into those grade levels, for example? Ensign, and primarily Ensign in the Estancia zone, somewhat the Costa Mesa zone. For those new students that are entering into, that got, the kids got their 7th grade, they got the Chromebooks. But now you have new students who are coming into the district as an 8th grader, don't have them. So do we have a process or a policy that allows for them to, you know, those brand-new kids into the district, are they issued one because everybody, the entire other school, rest of the school does?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted,
Okay.
Committee reports. I'm just going to report on crop. They're off and running. Every single school district, except Newport-Mesa, has started school. Tustin being the earliest. Tustin started on the 14th of August. Our school and our ROP classes won't start until we get back into class. And so in respect to that, the ROP classes at the Snyder site will also start there, but our students have missed out on all the other opportunities and all the multiple classes at all the other sites, the after school, after bell classes.
They can't enroll early?
They could, but they have to use, the only way they can do that is to have them through their career specialists who are not on campus, nor are their school counselors on campus to enroll them. So our kids miss out on, well, over 40 or 50 classes. Couple of other things are that coming up on, we pulled at this agenda, but we are doing at the request of Newport-Mesa and the Career and Technical Education, we're going to be approving a use of our CTIG, which is a California Technical Education Incentive Grant Funds, to do outreach to three of our high schools for $18,000. They're going to be doing one-day outreaches to Ensign, Tewinkle, and Costa Mesa, because those 3 campuses already have career and technical education pathways, and we are able to expend those funds. We have assurances from Dr. Bauermeister that there will be some outreach and some funds dedicated through another pot of money so that we can do it at Corona Del Mar, because we know that the parents are really asking for it. And so this is to promote not only college and career and technical education, but also to promote the pathways. And we have as I think Ms. Kobayashi said, Mr. Zebarth at Corona Del Mar, he has 6-7 periods of classes that are all ROP direct funded, so we're really excited about that. And then again, we are taking a look at the structure of the ROP. and the delivery and looking at the regional model versus, unfortunately, we can't go back to the old way, which would be a lot fairer, which is ADA. We can't do that, so we're probably going to be coming up with a new amendment to the MOUs and the JPAs because of, for example, Saddleback is declining by over 1,000 students every year. And so they are in significant decline. And so we're all looking at.
Saddleback ROP?
No, Saddleback Unified School
Okay, thank
District. And so, and we're growing, not by a lot in the high schools, but we're growing. And so the funding mechanism and the number of course allocations is at 40 because that was set in 2007 and 2013. So we're in lots of discussions about that. So we're very excited about looking at that. And the other exciting thing is you have to go over, all of us have to go over to Estancia and see the new Emma lab, the new medical lab. There's an $18,000 mannequin that does lots of things on this mannequin. So Yuki is just, they're so excited about that process of maintaining, taking everything. And it's a pretty cool, and that is an after-bell schedule class for the ROP, and it is just a class that is life-changing. We have a lot of students from other school districts. It's a life-changing class. And so they are just so excited, and I met the new Dwayne, can't remember his last name, who is the new ROP Construction Technology and Apprentice class. And the last thing is that Dr. Bauermeister and I have discussed it also, is that I'm requesting that, you know, we have a fabulous vision for career and technical education and college and career in this district, but I don't think we all know exactly the breadth and the extent of what we do. I report only on ROP, but there is a whole other section with career and technical education that is being operated outside that with lots of different opportunities. And so I would really think that we should be having a study session so that we're all on board about the entire vision of what we are doing, because we are, I think, far and away above all 5 of the other districts in terms of what we are offering for our students. And we have over, I mean, if you take a look at it, we have over half of our students in the high school in some sort of pathway. We've gotten rid of the singletons, and every single one of our classes are gearing towards a certification program or a pathway. We're no longer offering those singleton classes that are just for fun. So I think it's really important that we sort of schedule that, work with ROP, because it's just an amazing, you know, we're dealing with over $1.5 million that we just send to ROP itself, and then we have ours. So I think we need to have a nice, big, great study session talking about that.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Okay, informal reports. Do you have anything else?
Just want
to
to
say?
follow up on that presentation request. It's going to be competing in early with, we are going to have Ray come in pretty soon. Is that right, Mr. Lee-Sung? And show you how Avid's doing it, Ray. That's going to be one of our first ones.
Great.
So I'll ask Mr. Lee-Sung to look at the College and Career Office presentation. But that one's going to be the first one on there.
Sure.
And then the last thing, I don't want us to forget one other thing that your IT department is doing this year is they are rolling out the internet connection modules for kids who don't have access to being connected at home. So, we started off with 100 or so of these. We're working with the nonprofit at Newport Harbor.
Project Hope Alliance?
Project Hope Alliance, thank you. And they're going to help us identify which kids really need those. And so, just don't forget, with all the 21,000 Chromebooks, is that there's an enhancement there for kids who can't afford to have internet connection at home.
If a principal knows of a student at their school and it isn't one of the ones we've already had, do they need to just contact, who do they contact? Whom do they contact?
Well, their first contact should always be their executive director. So
Oh,
whether it's
got it.
Kirk or Kurt, we can help
Okay.
connect them to
Thank you.
IT and get them in that direction.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Just a little report. Well, I shared with you our numbers with staffing. I do want to thank our HR department that is, we've heard a lot about people behind the scenes, and they're like the ducks on the water with the feet going underneath, trying to stay up with the processing, and they've just done a phenomenal job. Kristen's team, the credential specialists, the HR techs, they are just working long and hard to make sure that our students have classroom teachers and support. So I really appreciate the work, and I know everybody does. So I did want to acknowledge them. I also want to share that open enrollment is alive and well and runs through September 10th. So our benefits team is also working to assist people in selecting their plans and getting set for the year. So thank you.
Just to say, I look forward to our visit tomorrow, and thank you for all of the recognition that you've given to the many, many people, not just the facilities, maintenance, operation, and IT department, but our site administrators worked hard throughout the year to help to make the planning, to make as much happen as happened over these last 8 to 10 weeks. Is amazing. It took a lot of planning and a lot of hard work by a lot of people. So thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Navarro, earlier for recognizing all of the hard work of all these folks. And then lastly, I don't know if it was on the handout you got, but the theme for tomorrow's tour is the Partridge Family Reunion.
And you know what? We're just going to buy them all lunch tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
Very good.
No
He's
report.
looking at me like, what?
No report?
No report.
So a quick heads up, our fall Pursuing Victory with Honor training will be October 1st at 6:30. CIF Commissioner Rob Wygod will be out once again.
He's so
And
fabulous.
he will tell you that we are the only district in the CIF Southern Section that has 2 trainings a year, fall and spring. And he will also tell you we're the only school district that school board members and the superintendent attend the trainings as well. So thank you for your support of that program.
Fabulous program. And if you haven't heard him, he's great.
So just a few things on the last 2-day front of PD. We've seen some amazing things happen, both collaboratively at zone-wide. We saw the CDM zone get together and share best practices and then, enrich their instruction. The Estancia zone spent 2 full days yesterday and today really digging into the materials adaptation plan for Wonders. So that they can, start making some really informed decisions as informed consumers of those materials to make sure that they're meeting the needs of all kids. They'll also launch into a 3rd day of an instructional practice guide in the Estancia zone focused on just the core action 1 in mathematics, focused around the shifts of focus, coherence, and rigor and what that looks like, both in the Bridges program as well as in their instruction. So along with those 2, zone collaborative efforts, sites have been at it individually with some site initiatives. Just the amount of work that has gone into this week across the district is incredible. Dr. Navarro mentioned the incredible work our warehouse did to get the materials out and will still do because they're still coming in. And just want to share today, secondary kicked off a lot of their curricular PDs or all their curricular PDs from our high school math pilot to implementation 6-8 in mathematics, kicking off our history, social studies pilot, bringing in the pilot teachers now that we've made some decisions from our steering committee, and then also our ELA focus. Just an enormous amount of work has been going in, to just getting better and making sure that our kids have the best opportunity to meet the expectations of the standards. And similar to kind of Leona's comment about, the HR department, Ed Services Department has been incredible this summer in coming together, stepping out of some of their roles to make sure that all of this is getting done so that we're ready for the kids when they come back. So an incredible group.
I know that No Excuses University schools are meeting on Thursday together too, so that's another group that's meeting together as a, and it's so exciting to hear the collaboration, because then it's not a standalone school. No longer is it a one-room schoolhouse that's standing alone in the middle of the prairie. They're working together, smarter, not harder.
Many of you might relate to this. I still have friends and family who say, "Oh, so you're off for the summer?"
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, "No, it's really busy." And I think we're hearing a theme of so many people behind the scenes really working throughout the summer, and this right now is the red zone, and just amazing how everything is coming together. But I do want to talk about one piece of this, again, happens behind the scenes, and Ms. Matoya, you brought up class size and how we monitor that. And I know if Dr. Sir was here, he'd probably share this with you. I will share it on his behalf because he talks to me and checks in with me every day on these updates. But we are constantly monitoring, and his role is to look at those enrollment numbers. And not just overall, but every single classroom, every single grade level, every single site, seeing who's in the queue in terms of enrollment to make sure that our class sizes are at appropriate levels. And I do appreciate this district. I'm part of that decision that if we need a teacher to be added at a school site or a particular grade level because the class sizes exceed what we feel is appropriate, we will add a teacher. And in some cases, because we're prudent consumers of taxpayer money, if we have to close a classroom or move a teacher and shift it to a site who needs it, we do that. And through the work of Dr. Sir's monitoring, along with HR, and Megan Brown jumped right into the act here, and we had to shift a couple of teachers, and in a couple of places we had to add some teachers. So that goes on behind the scenes, and our numbers are looking really good. Very, very appropriate. And just to frame a reference, you mentioned another district with the TK class of 28.
28.
Our TK magic number is 14.
14.
So we're never below 14, but you know what? We have many classes just slightly above 14 and never, at an unreasonable level. So monitoring very good, or very well, and we're looking good going into the start of
My
the year.
granddaughter started school, she's in Saddleback, she's at Montevideo. So they have a first grade class and a 1-2 combo. And that is at every single grade level. They're at like 320, so they've opened it up to, it's not considered, it's like an IB, but not an IB. It's combos everywhere. Everywhere. It's just awful.
And just to confirm, we have no combos
At
other
all.
than the TKK, which we do
Right.
to maintain TK at all of our school sites, which is also very unique.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you.
amazing.
Gosh, I know. Okay, we won't be able to get out the door with our heads.
But we
Okay.
will try.
Yes. Okay, so who wants to move for
Move
adjourn? Second. Okay. Mrs. Black moved to adjourn.
Gave you my money.
Mrs. Franco seconded. All in favor?
Aye. What is
Any
this?
opposed out there?
You know what
Want to
this
go
is?
longer?
You know what that is?
Thank you.